In the middle of the night or early Friday morning, depending upon where you are in the world, a group of experienced comics professionals get together to examine and instruct about the art form that they love. That's great comic artwork on Comics by Night, Fridays at 5 a.m. Eastern, here on the Indie Comics Network, indiecomicsnetwork.com.
What was that? This is not a charade.
What a crowd. What a crowd we have today. Welcome everyone to another beautiful, beautiful Thursday morning. And here we are sizzling up the bacon for you. We're going to have all the best news and all the best topics this morning. So settle on in. We're going to have a good time. Today, we actually have a Kelsey sighting.
Can I just say that opening was positively cruel? Not the delicious frying bacon, the dancing Tony Danza that was just awful. No,
oh, come on! You don't like Tony? Come on.
I like the intro.
No, that bacon was torture, man. I was just like, what am I doing on a show? Gonna be frying bacon right now.
Yeah, last week we used a different intro, and Glenn was not happy. The reason why we went back to the original intro is because I actually have the rights to the music. Where the other one I kept getting, I got copyright struck for, so it messed up their, even though I had permission to use it, I didn't.
Yeah, you kind of like a lot of music that is, what do you call it? It can't be seen by YouTube or it's free. But when I do use one that's been seen, a lot of times it's one that they'll just share. They'll do the sharing money, like they won't strike you or anything, but.
Yeah.
It's like as long as you're like okay with that,
Mm-hmm.
which I'm like, fine, that'd be great. I don't mind sharing it all for a little bit of music. That's fine.
Right. Yeah, I don't have a problem with that either. But some of these people, they don't do that. They just demonetize you on it. So
Yeah.
It's not the best. It's not the best, but yeah. So I make up. I made that intro music, by the way,
Nice.
that we just had this morning, and all the dancing. I did not.
Oh,
I did not do the dancing. I did not do that. Those were famous people, Kelsey. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, those are what we call celebrities around here.
I never paid attention to such a thing.
Yeah, you shouldn't. They're stupid. Yeah, celebrities are morons. Yeah. Anyway, it's been a good week so far. Randy, what you been up to, man?
Busy working. Did the really cool Comic-Con over last weekend. Here
That's
in
its official
Flint.
name?
Wonderful Flint name. That's its official name. Yeah.
Man,
It
that's
was
not pretentious
really
at all.
cool.
Was it really
So,
cool?
anyway,
It better be with a name like that. I'm telling you.
Saturday
full
was
sabotage.
great. I actually had people come in, and it always blows my mind. They pay admission fee to go into a convention to stop by and say hello. It's great. Sold a lot of comics. It was really good. Sunday was a different story as something blew in the facility, and the majority of the lights were out the entire
Oh, wow.
back half of the show, and it was
Something blue in the facility.
yeah,
That's what she said.
exactly right. Where it was in the middle hall. It was in an ice skating arena. There's two different rinks, and they had the entire facility. And they boasted and it's an older facility. It's about 50, 60 years old. And the week before, they were boasting they had a brand new LED display that they were flashing through all day Sunday, and they were focusing all of the crowd to come through the main arena. And I was in the secondary arena, which was the arena they had the week or the year before, because they kept all the old guys in the older arena, all the previous folks.
That's ageist.
Well, not old. The guys that were there the previous.
Oh,
year.
okay. Oh,
Yeah. That just don't let the gray fool you. But anyway, I'm in the middle section talking to friends, and we hear this loud boom. And about 10, 15 seconds later, all the lights dropped and went dark, except for the back half of like the second arena where I was at. I had light, but
Turns out
nobody
that new
else did.
LED board probably.
Apparently.
you were fixing your bayonet ready for battle. And then,
Yeah.
no, just the lights went out. It's okay. It's okay.
Exactly. So it was a great Sunday there where I sold nothing but talked to a lot of people. So, but Saturday more than made up for it. It was a really cool time.
Sunday's usually the day that I go, I get enough free time to walk around, and go see the show itself because there's not as many people. And it's usually so busy, you don't really get to go look around. But
It's true. It's true. Yeah.
Well, I've got an long-time friend, Jason Moore, that Kelsey.
yeah,
probably
Jason
knows.
Moore. I know
And
Jason.
we're almost in a competition in shows. He does a lot more shows than I do anymore. But we'll go through start of the first day and start looking for deals.
Oh yeah, that's
And it's
probably.
like,
so
I
you'll
found
listen.
this. What did you find? I found this. What did you find? That kind of thing.
You can't beat that kind of camaraderie at all.
Yeah.
It's classic.
it is
So
like
he
that.
ended up finding an old fanzine of Amazing World of DC that covered the Legion of Superheroes, and I got a hold of an alter ego that had a big that was all tribute to Alex Toth that they did right after he passed. That was just got phenomenal artwork in it. It's a lot of fun.
That's one of the benefits of all this collapsing is that we're going to find all these great deals on all the stuff.
Oh yeah.
Well, there were a couple dealers there selling old Eries and Creepies for like $5 a pop, and that was a big box that I had to resist.
I'm not gonna lie. One of my favorite things to do at conventions is to see if I can find any old Arrow comics out in the wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always like doing this. Like, hey, there you go. Because I normally, at least on the Saturday, the busy day, I wear my Arrow shirt. Try to represent the brand. And Sunday, that's a different story. I normally just come into my pajamas.
I find all mine in the quarter bin. That's a great place to find Kelsey comics.
Yeah, look, there's
They're now
our-
dollar
our-
and $3 boxes now.
Hey, I've gone
don't
up
see
and
those
buy
books
you.
for-
I
Yeah,
like
you
it.
have.
Yep, they are.
Well, that's one good thing Biden's done, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is not a joke. That is a natural fact.
Natural fact. Thanks, Joe.
Thank you, inflation.
But it was a good show. Got to talk to a lot of people. Sold a couple of runs of Tales from the Universe. Didn't get rid of, but I sold my last copy, my last free copy of Tales from the Universe #2 for $20. Put $20 on it, and it went. Guy didn't even blink. How much you going to charge me for all this? He just handed me a stack. I just went through it, added it all up. How does this sound? Oh yeah, okay.
Nice.
And Bob's your uncle.
Bob's your uncle.
Robert's your mother's brother.
You're like a
Whiskey. How's your week going, man?
How's my week going? It's good, man. Lots and lots of script writing, lots of character design, and lots of just the fiddly bits about making a comic. It's been fantastic. I've been up all night. I haven't slept yet.
That's a good week. Yeah, I mean, we're very well aware of those days.
I like being
Artist
creative.
hours.
Yeah. So
you just can't sleep. Your brain is just 110%. You're like creating, and there's no rest for the wicked, I guess.
yeah, we were talking Tuesday, and you go, making comics is hard. I think,
Yeah.
It is. You know what's harder than making comics? Selling the damn things.
Yeah, that's even more. I mean, honestly, I try not to complain because my chat is usually filled with people doing actual work out there in the world, truck drivers and whatnot. I'm like, okay, yeah, it's hard, but I get it. Yeah, all right.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. It's not that hard. I'm sitting in my house drawing pictures. But yeah, it's brain hard. It's brain hard.
Brain hard, yeah.
The cool thing about what we do is some people actually look at it as magic, which is which
Well,
It
it's
is
kind
kind
of
of.
it is. Yeah.
If you can elicit an emotion in someone in any kind of way, then you've performed some form of magic.
Guys.
exactly.
Pedro made it.
Yay!
Speaking about magic, how you guys
Speaking
doing?
of magic,
Look at the magic man.
you talk about the magic, and there comes Pedro.
Yeah. What's up, guys?
All right.
Much. How are you, man?
Kelvin, first time I stream with you, man. Big
Hey, yeah, good to meet you.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for this, by the way.
I've-
You'll understand
I
why.
apologize.
He's apologizing for being on the bacon.
I'm sorry, E.
It's all right.
I'm sorry, E.
Yeah, I'm just gonna. Kelsey's had a good week.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. So we got everything sorted with your campaign. You're back up now in continuous mode on the store over on Fund My Comic. And I'm going to throw that link in there. So in case people have not gotten that book yet, they should.
I really
they
wish
should.
we'd timed it differently. The convention, I wasn't really prepared, but if we'd have left it open during the convention, probably
made
could
a
have
buck
had
or two.
another 20, 30 sales out of that. But everybody was curious about it, and I'm like, well, just keep an eye on it. It'll be there.
Yeah, we got you sorted. We learned a valuable lesson.
Oh, yeah.
We used you as a guinea pig, which is pretty much your love life, right? And,
Yes.
so yeah, we used you as a guinea pig on that one, and found out that if you're running a all or nothing, which is our only post processing, the reason why we do those in post processing is because you have to raise it all or you get nothing, so it saves on fees. So that's why we can keep our platform fees so low, so we don't have to cover those fees from someone else's
I didn't know that.
successful campaign.
Okay.
Yeah, so we don't have to cover those fees from somewhere else. And so we have learned that we cannot move that into continuous, which is a direct processing, which means it processes right away. We cannot do that until post-processing is finished, or else it pauses the whole system, it's automated. So as soon as the campaign ends, it starts the process, and the clock gets ticking for it, right? And when you change that, it pauses everything. And the only way for us to click that back up is for me to go to the engineer and be like, I need you to go in the back room, down to the deep, dark basement of the code that no one sees, and make this happen for me. So yeah, so that's what it turns out to be. So we learned a valuable lesson with that. And
Do you have to say that in dim lights? That
You
sounds
do,
very
you do. You have
sexual.
In a back room with candles lit and like
Yeah, exactly.
Scented oils. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
robes. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
You have to make a sacrifice to an eldritch god.
Exactly. Yeah. Take one for the team, basically.
you get it, yeah. So your campaign's back up and running. We'll talk about that a little bit this morning, as long as you can stick around. I know you've got your show today, don't you?
No, I'm not doing it today. I just got too much going on.
Okay.
You happen to be right there at the right time, and I'm like, I'm up coloring. Let's
Right time,
do this.
right place. All right, yeah.
But, yeah.
This is the perfect
Cool.
show to listen to and to work during. Really, the only person working here is I think who's working here today.
None of us are really
Deadbeats.
working.
Get a job.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
I'm working.
Yeah. Pedro always works while we do the show, and the Baconation is working.
Yeah.
They're all working. So we try to do this more of like a safe for work morning show. Kelsey, I don't know if you are familiar with the. I know you're over there in Alabama, right?
No, Louisiana.
Louisiana.
Baton
Okay,
Rouge.
yeah.
Baton Rouge.
Baton Rouge. There you go.
Baton
Yep.
Rouge.
I knew you were in that area. There you go. With the crawfishies and stuff.
That's right.
And so over here in the Midwest, we have these morning radio shows. One particular is a group called Bob and Tom. I think Bob's retired, but Tom's still doing it, I think. But it's like a syndicated radio show, and it's basically just 3 hours of these guys talking and being dumbasses while they talk about pop culture and news and things like that, and so it's a lot of fun.
I've never heard of this radio you talk about. I must check this out.
Oh yeah,
It's a strange invention that's been around for decades.
Didn't they use that in World War II and stuff?
Kelsey doesn't get out much.
Yeah,
I
a
don't
long
get
time
out
ago.
Kelsey doesn't get out much. Yeah. So it's pretty funny. Guys, guess what? We
In the war,
got a,
see, yeah.
we got a new channel member this morning. Ronan's Reviews just became a new channel member. So guess what that means? He flips us the frickin' bird.
Time
Yes,
for the
sir.
bird.
Bird.
We are.
No.
That bird
Whenever
just-
anybody
Friday
makes any
night.
money,
Yeah.
whenever the cash register rings over here on Nerd Bacon on this channel, we call it having the fans flip us the bird, and we really do enjoy that. But no, so we
I love it that it's the sound of my people, though.
it is the sound of your people, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pedro, we're a very diverse group here.
That we are. We're diverse and inclusive.
Yeah, I mean we have the one black guy, so that makes us diverse. We've met our quota.
Who, me?
Black and Latino. Double whammy.
Black and Latino. Yeah, it's the laws of intersectionality are alive and well this morning.
I
No
grew up
wonder
in
you have such a fantastic taste in music, Pedro.
Oh,
Yeah, of course.
no. Dude, I'm a straight out metalhead. What are you talking about?
Straight up metal.
Are you eating a Cuban sandwich right now? Everybody's making me hungry. I got bacon.
Oh.
I got sandwiches.
Yeah,
It's no. I mean, I don't. It doesn't have pickles, but
I like
I'm not in
pickles. I like
Cuba.
pickles.
So
Yeah.
sandwich.
So we do this kind of a broad kind of thing, and that's what we've been doing. I've always wanted to do that, and
We like
And
doing
so
that
that's what we
broad
started
kind of
doing.
thing.
I
Yeah, I
really
like
do.
Rob's.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
Mhm.
That's what I heard. I have a clip for that, I think.
That ain't what I heard.
What a story, Mark.
Anyway, let's get to our chat and welcome our chat this morning. We have got Ronan's Reviews in the house, just became a channel member. Thank you so much. Your contributions definitely go to help make this channel better and add more content each and every day. We do very much appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you. He was fighting for first place today with Schism, and he did win. Schism usually rolls in pretty early. Not sure how he
Good to
beats
see
everybody,
Schism.
but
He's been
That's because
first
he's
in my
East
shot.
EU. That's how.
yeah, he's waiting while we're all still asleep.
So
I don't
for
know,
him, it's the
man.
middle of the day.
You gotta be a little bit more specific than that because if I say East EU, I think already like Eurotrip, like Bratislava.
It could be whatever. I don't know.
Bratislava.
Did you say words?
Yeah.
Never
You
know.
say
There we go.
baklava?
No, I said
Baklava.
Bratislava.
Bratislava.
You're making,
Baklava.
making Kelsey hungrier.
Yeah, I know.
We talk about it. So I watched. Are you guys familiar with a comedian named Jim Gaffigan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So Jim Gaffigan normally has a lot of funny bits about food. Well,
Mm-hmm.
he's got a new special out on Prime called Dark Pale, right?
Oh.
And he's gone dark. So in recent years, he has gone. He's gotten the Trump derangement syndrome bad, right? Yeah, it's sad, man. I mean, it couldn't happen to a better guy. And And so his new special was fairly dark, and I didn't laugh. I actually fell asleep during the special. Like it was that. You got to be a pretty bad comedian for me to, and I mean, he was not funny at all. He only had a couple of funny food jokes that were somewhat humorous, but yeah. And I normally love his stuff, like his food humor. Food humor speaks to me on a metaphysical level. So
I'm the same thing with the guy who, man, I think he's hilarious. That he's like he was a redhead, now he's like a bald guy, but he is
Bill Burr.
Huh?
Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is merciless, but I tried to watch his last routine. I know he's trying to be fair and kind of call it out on every side, but it's just maybe I'm just not in the mood for comedy right now. But I feel like I am. It's just not there.
I'm in the mood for good comedy.
Yeah, right. I think I blame LA, man.
Here's a special. Now you have to download an app to see this because it's exclusive over on Fox Nation. Of all places for a comedy special to be. But it's Rob Schneider's Woke Up in America. It is hilarious. This guy, I'm telling you, he dropped zinger after zinger on there. I mean, making fun of some funny stuff. And all the insight thoughts he says out loud. And it is gold, man.
I want to see him and James Woods do a new buddy comedy.
I'd love to see that.
Oh man,
I don't know. Like, I know he's accused of doing like things over the phone with women, but the last Louis C.K.
Woods,
the last Louis C.K.
Louis C.K.
was really good.
No, he didn't do him over the phone. He was right in front of him. That's the.
That was one of the accusations was like he was doing it over the phone, and the girl.
Did you hear? I believe it was Kevin Spacey.
Oh yeah, he's acquitted.
Was acquitted.
Yeah.
So that might be the end of the Me Too. #MeToo thing, which I was all on board when it first started, and then it just became kind of weird. This guy looked at me weird, #MeToo. No, that's not. He's got a lazy eye. It's a medical condition. He's not looking at you weird.
Me Too is horrible for ugly people, man.
Welcome, John Epple, to the chat this morning. Great to have you here today. We got Glenn Fleming in the house. Come on, let's go. It is great to have Glenn here. Glenn is working on his new book that is coming out on Fun My Comics soon. Hatch. You guys, Hatch is one of the coolest characters. And he mentioned in one of my chats the other day when I was doing a live stream that he is working on that World War II book.
Yeah.
That we saw the art for that one time.
Yeah.
That is going to, that is going to drop. That's going to be awesome.
You go up on Amazon and look under Glenn Fleming, you see the coolest variety of books. I'm telling you.
This guy, he's all over the place.
Yep. In fact, I'm working on an article for Glenn's Comics Unlimited right now.
Very good.
I'm only about 10 days late on it, so yeah.
Says
coming anytime.
Ronan is Eastern time, so it's morning. I jump in when I get settled at the office for the day. I watch this while work until lunchtime, and that's what we're here for. That's exactly what we're here for.
Thanks for watching.
To make your Thursday mornings a little more tolerable. And hopefully we're doing that for you. We do appreciate that. You swing by. The 90s, they were epic. The 90s were epic. Let me see who else. Schism. A lot of talking back and forth going on there. We've got Russ Leach, the comic book black belt in the house. Welcome, man. Look at the talent we got in the chats this morning, man. I'm telling you, it is quite the place to be. Yep. Yeah, Tree Goblin's in the house as well. Welcome. Good to have you here. Hen is in the house. Hello, darling. Hello. Yeah. It's great to have you here today. John Douglas is with us as well. Welcome. Hail everyone. John Celestri, the great animator of my day, and now adult angel writer of your day.
Yep.
Right?
Whoa.
Yeah. Oh yeah. His book's getting ready to drop here soon. Very excited about that. Ronan Reviews. Bold Cat is in the house. Hey everyone. Indie Comics Network is here. Welcome. It's great to have you here, Anita.
Hey.
Great. Yeah. Missed you, gal. 24 Eyes is in the house. Always love seeing those sets of 24 Eyes pop up in the chat. It means
just remember the Misfits.
I'm about to hire 24 Eyes as the as kind of the street team captain for Fun My Comic. This guy has got he's like an idea factory. It's like he opens his mouth and he pukes out great ideas. It's amazing about what this guy's got going on.
Yeah,
man, it's a medical
The best thing
condition.
to puke is ideas.
And again, thank you very much for becoming a YouTube member. We do appreciate that very much. It is
Can we do
because
the
of
bird
support
again?
for you.
Just
yeah,
because?
let's do it. Just because.
Yeah.
Let's just
Encore.
do it. Yeah, let's do
Flip.
it. I'm gonna have to clip for when anyone becomes a member, the Christmas vacation scene where Uncle Eddie responds to the Jelly of the Month Club, where he says it's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round, Clark. Because that's what the membership really is. It's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year round. So and now I've worked on a new clip. I've got to start making notes. Yeah, there we go.
What do you get for memberships? Like, should I be doing that? I see people doing memberships, but I'm like, I
make exclusive
them,
content
like,
for
cards.
members.
You know, like videos.
Yeah, I make exclusive content for members.
Okay.
Our Tuesday night show, we'll do that live, but then that gets turned over for members only so they can watch it back and play back. We get pretty pointed on that show. We get a little weird, and so pretty much if you're gonna rewatch that show, you gotta be in the inner circle for that one.
Yeah.
So,
Not like this program, where we're safe for work.
We're safe for work.
Ronan does remember Bob and Tom. Love those guys, but they were not safe for work. We do try to be safe for work here, as safe as we can be. But we've also got Tank Ferret in the house. Welcome, Tank Ferret. It's good to see you here today.
Hey, Tank.
Very good to see Tank.
Tank.
Yep, we've got Death Metal Hero, Luke Aguilera
Hey,
in the
Luke.
house. Welcome. Good morning,
Hello
gents.
there,
It's
Luke.
good to have you here. Hojo's in the house as well. Welcome.
Hojo.
Jojo.
Glenn watches every week for good comedy, and you know what? Russ Leach agrees with him. I'm glad that you find us funny, because our families do not.
Yeah. I mean, I got divorced, so I'm definitely not funny.
Yeah, she doesn't think you're funny at all.
Hilarious.
No. I mean, it was funny she got the house. That was funny to her. But,
Ouch.
Ouch.
you know what?
Emotional damage.
He's off the air right now, cursing.
Oh, guys,
Back
news
there,
break. Tank Ferret has just become a channel member.
Ferret.
Let's
Yeah.
make that dang bird dance again. Thank you
Let's
so
do it
much
again.
this morning. Your generosity
enough-
overwhelms me this morning,
All right.
folks. I really
Oddly enough,
appreciate
I have the same dance moves.
it. You do? That is great. I'm very
I would
impressed.
believe that.
That's
I
what
was
my
very
wife
impressed.
tells me.
The bird's a hell of a salesman.
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah.
Randy
We should
looks
put him
like
on
a-
the street team.
Yeah, Randy looks like a salsa guy to me.
He really does. No,
I could do it.
he goes, I could do it.
Salsa.
He goes, actually, I'm more of a Viennese waltz.
Mm.
Yeah. No, I don't think so. I think he's a samba.
I'm more
dude.
of a Taco Bell hot sauce packet dance guy, not a salsa.
There you
There we go.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah, you dance that.
What is that dance move? That's the I got a shit dance move.
Yeah, you dance that by sitting down. You just let it rip.
That's like I got a turtle head poking out, guys. That's crazy.
Oh, the girl would be.
So yeah,
Lucky.
Hojo has proof that you do wake up before 10 a.m. So so it
Oh,
is.
barely.
It happens
The difference
occasionally.
between waking up and not having gone to bed yet.
Oh, yeah. True that.
Kelsey is actually Scott Rosema.
Oh, there we
no.
are.
Scott Rosema just doesn't even show up. Doesn't matter.
Oh.
I'd love to get Scott Rosema on the show sometime.
good luck.
Here's the thing. It's like a gold nugget. It's like
Gold
when he
nugget.
does show up, if he shows up, he says something funny.
Yeah.
Like one thing is funny, and it's good.
We have something to look up to.
John Douglas has
We
a
can do
question.
that.
Question for the Brain Trust. My plan is to why second fantasy with a companion comic. How would that best be implemented?
Oh, what?
Why?
Need a little clarification, John.
Too early for that kind of questioning.
Yeah, brain no work.
Yeah.
Brain no work. Yeah. Normally we can figure it out, but today
Yeah.
Today I was up until 3.
Get a little
which
coffee,
means-
John, and write us back.
My
Let us
plan
know.
is to do
Yeah.
a wine. It'll be like young adult.
What,
I don't know.
Maybe-
Time for some bacon, John.
Second fantasy we can.
The
Okay,
other-
I'm getting a headache.
You know, Russ does have a point. You never do see them together in the same room. You've never seen Scott Rosamund and Kelsey in the same room together.
Which one is the secret identity and which one's the superhero?
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or villain?
Or super villain. Yeah.
It depends on the superpower.
Yeah, it depends on the day, right?
If it's like Taco Bell explosive.
Nita says, I've been lurking, but have been in a weird space with all the life stuff going down. So just laying low-ish. I understand that.
Yeah, that happens.
We're here for you, sis. We
Yeah,
really are.
regroup, recharge.
Hero Shack is in the house. Welcome.
We're rooting for
Everyone watches.
Yeah. Keep your stick on the ice.
Yep. keep your. Randy, you're so. I love you, man.
you. He just loves that stuff now.
We've got Phantasmagorical in the house. Welcome. It's great to have you
Hey,
here.
Fanta, what's
Today,
up?
Fanta is a fantastic.
Woodrow.
Oh, imagine that. Fanta is fantastic.
Woodrow.
It's mad.
Sounds like a
Woodrow's in the house. Welcome. We love Nita.
Yep.
Enjoy your Facebook memes.
We had a Woodrow here in Flint that was mayor for too many years. We ended up having to recall him to get rid of him.
Here's what I.
Nothing like a good gerrymandering.
Woodrow Stanley. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's about it, too.
Tanks has had $3 left after the bills. Take it. Thank you.
Oh, Jesus. Thank you, Tim.
Take it.
I appreciate
Thank you
that
for
very
reminding
much.
me.
You
Jesus.
see a fork in the road, take it. Yeah.
Take that one. Let me see what else we have going. He thought Bob and Tom was weak. No, they weren't. They were good. I guess Walton and Johnson were pretty good too, though. Mr.
Actually,
There's
Dr.
a whole
Ben is in
era
the
of
house.
shock jocks there and comedy programs for the longest time that have slowly faded out.
I don't know. I was a big Opie and Anthony fan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
them too.
Oh, yeah, they're
The
pretty good.
last hangers on, Bob and Tom. Yeah.
speaking about a tank ferret there, he recently had a buddy of his that, so this is a community service announcement, if you can, call it that. A buddy of his had a Facebook group with 4,500 members, and I guess they were using it to promote their work and, do advertising stuff, but they got false flagged or somebody reported it falsely and got shut down. So Tank is, go up. He's got a new thing on Twitter there. Follow him on Twitter and help him rebuild his stuff because, when something like that happens, it's terrible.
We have to avoid everything Zuckerberg. I think it's the safest route.
That's why you got backups to your backups in this industry,
Yep.
folks.
You can't depend on any of these platforms.
Isn't he supposed to fight Musk? Elon Musk?
with
I heard that
threats?
the other day, and I was like, is
I
that
hope so.
real?
I hope
Wait,
that really
correct?
does happen.
Dude, no, Threads lost like 80% of their subscribers in a week. Like people got in and was like
80% gone. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
yeah,
like-
never mind.
Mhm.
Dr. Ben notices that everybody is up and watching Nerd Bacon this morning. People will set their alarm to watch this show,
It's because of Kelsey.
which is funny. Yeah, it's a
Is that what it is?
Yeah, Kelsey is a
Kelsey
magnet. It's the Kelsey boom. Kelsey boom. That's what she said.
Yeah.
That's a Kelsey.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
Kelsey. We see Kelsey right there.
The Kelsey book. Feel it.
Yeah, B.A. Turner's in the house. Welcome this
B.A.
morning. It's great to have you here. Great to have you here. We've got David. Caw. Ahoy there, folks. Welcome. It's good to have you here.
That's very
Who
old.
else do we have in the house today?
People still
I'm
go
trying to
cacao? Nice.
The caw.
I
Yeah.
miss that. Yeah.
Hail, morning coffee and sketches.
Hail.
That's what we'll be doing. And
Yeah.
everyone does love Nita. It is hard not to love Nita. I can always tell when it's a Nita meme if I'm scrolling through my Facebook feed, because if I laugh at it, it's a Nina meme.
Okay.
It has to be. I mean, I laugh at no one else's stuff because most people don't know how to be funny.
Love her already. What's her number?
It's a lost art.
What's her number?
Her
You
number.
know what? She's in your neighborhood, by the way.
Hey,
Her,
wait,
yeah,
hey.
her and
Hey.
C. Michael.
Hey.
C. Michael, her husband is a fantastic artist as well.
Yes, he is.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah.
just fantastic
good.
people.
Yep.
You would love to make friends with them. You really would. You really would.
I'm sure they're lovely.
Walton passed away
married
years ago,
people.
They
Yeah,
are.
exactly.
Well,
It's-
well, they're
I mean,
crazy.
great for them.
Unfortunately, Zucker has training.
Oh yeah, he's
Really?
He does. Yeah, he. Well, it was part of his programming.
But Elon is an X-Man.
Or yes, he.
Oh, that's true.
So Kelsey, who do you got to win out of the two?
Well,
this
I
is
mean,
like
initially you think Musk because he's gotten really big.
yeah,
And
he got the
Zuck is
weight.
still
Yes.
kind of a skinny thing, but
Mhm.
but there's this last minute thing with Elon complaining about backs and surgeries. I'm like, oh man, come on, what are you setting things up? Or are you trying to make us feel like you're gonna lose and then you'll
Yep.
win big time?
Yeah.
He's gonna be like,
Probably setting things up. Yeah.
he's like,
Yeah.
surprise, bitches.
I mean, and the
It
thing
was
is that,
bionics.
Exactly.
Yeah, like you can train BJJ and whatnot, but MMA has changed, dude. And
Mhm.
groundwork
Yep.
is not as good as it used to be.
Mm.
If you know how to punch, so I
Guys,
don't know. Like,
I feel like Zuck might be a grappler though, so he might.
Yeah.
Get Zuck if he can get Elon down on the ground, it might be tough.
exactly.
And I
But
feel
to
like
get somebody, to
I
grapple
feel
to
like,
improve somebody's defense.
Elon's a ground, a punching guy, right? He's going to be standing up, trying to throw a kick in there, here and there.
Fanta wants me to let you know, Kelsey, that you are one of her favorites.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, dude. I have a question for you, Kelsey.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, seeing your pedigree and how you draw, do you have an animation background, sir?
Yes and no. I mean, I was like, I really wanted to be an animator. I wanted to work with Disney, and I remember just being obsessed with their cartoons back in the kind of the when what was the one with the mermaid? Little Mermaid.
Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
Little Mermaid came out, and that kind of like started this renaissance for Disney animation. So
Yeah, it did.
everybody went. I mean,
I wanted to be an animator.
Yeah. So
I
think
am an animator.
Oh, are you?
You are an animator.
Yeah.
You are an
Well, I mean,
animator,
I got in, I started messing around with it, and I realized, okay, so I could draw one cool drawing and call it a day, or I have to draw, what is it, 30 feet of drawings that day?
It's eight
Right.
8 drawings per feet.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
yeah.
I kind of had a little change of heart. I still love it though. It's still.
Oh, the thing that I'm telling you is, right now I'm on the road to get where you are. In what sense? Like I can draw the 8 drawings per feet of animation, but the level of detail I can accomplish is compromised.
Yeah.
So you get the right mix of gesture, the right mix of proportion and movement. Like, dude, you got it. But you have a level of detail that I'm envious. Okay, I'm envious. I'm just saying that.
Yeah, you know there are cheaper ways to make money in comics.
Yeah.
Do you draw the Flintstones naked? There's a market for that.
Yeah. Oh, look,
Animation is tough work.
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
I could be a perfect. I could be a perfectly good drug lord where I live in, and I chose to draw for a living. So
You could be a perfectly good drug lord. You've got the charisma for it.
I mean, there's benefits to both. Like I've tinkered around with animation, and when you make it move and you get the timing right.
Yeah.
Oh, it feels so good. It feels as good as getting your book in print and in your hand. That's also an amazing feeling. So there's definitely benefits to both. It's just a matter of how you want to, arrange your business. I just feel like I love books. I kind of fell in love with comics as comics, and I'm like, there's so many people using comics as a stepping stone to get to somewhere else, including myself for most of my career, until I legitimately fell in love with comics, and I can't see it. I really don't want to be anywhere else, honestly.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like if we're making books, we have taken into account that we're making a book. It's not a vehicle for a movie or a series or whatever, because that's going to affect your storytelling. That's going to affect even how you place a camera.
Yeah.
And if you can elicit those emotions with a still image and a story, I feel like it's far more rewarding for me. I don't know, because it's like, oh man, you created that in your mind instead of having them sit there passively and watch what you did.
Yeah.
You actually activating their brain to consider what's happening between panels and such. So I like that.
Yep.
Yeah, dude. Like as I said, like I'm adapting. I've switched to comic books like 2 years ago, so I'm like on a road right now. But you're one of my references, sir. So I just wanted to say
thank you.
So we love the art of sequential storytelling. Like that is one of our primary passions here, and we're trying to bring awareness. and appreciation back to the art form, because we feel like the mainstream, quote unquote mainstream, if that's what we can call them these days, has kind of lost the plot when it comes to those kind of things. And so today we've got 2 topics, and we're going to get into the news here real quick, and then we're going to weave in these 2 topics today. One of those is that traditional publishing has gone the way of the dodo. There are way too many tools and way too many resources that you no longer need a traditional publisher in order to be successful. Glenn Fleming is one of those people that proves that each and every day.
Who's he? Give us a refresh on Glenn Fleming.
Right.
Do I know this person?
If you don't know him, you should know him. He's the guy that does Hatch and a couple of other things. He does a
Jack Kirby book.
Just look him up on Amazon. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's all sorts of there's books on Kennedy assassination. It's got a great tabletop coffee table book on Easter Island.
Oh,
that's phenomenal. Where he went and took a lot of pictures. He's constantly revising some of the titles that he's done before.
And he has
he does a wide variety of books. Done a couple of books on soccer, football over there.
Yeah, his range of topics is very ADD.
Yeah, I see that. Yeah,
all over the place.
But really cool,
and comics. So,
Timmy says we call them the lamestream media around here
these days. Glenn also puts together an amazing magazine called Comics Unlimited. That's on, I think, the 13th issue right now. He used to do a series over in Britain called Crikey that talked about all sorts of different English comics. Now Comics Unlimited talks about all sorts of comics. Yeah.
Nice.
Russ, another fantastic sequential artist. Mm-hmm. So many people confuse the art of drawing with the art of storytelling. It's not a bunch of beautiful illustrations on the same page. It's well-crafted sequential storytelling. And you know what? That is absolutely true. If you are a lover of sequential storytelling, you need to grab a hold of Kelsey's book. This is not high-finished work. This is the layouts and the scribbles of the shape language, the body language, the capture of movement, the
you're looking under the hood here.
Yeah, this is a case study for you of learning how to tell better stories through pictures. Mm-hmm. This is the art of hieroglyphics. If you are into doing sequential art or appreciate sequential art at all, this is a book that you have to get. Plus, you get some Anna the Star Wars girl, which is never bad.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick.
It's always welcome.
Since you're looking at, not to change the subject, but those original art tiers have been sold and they're still popped up. How do we?
Actually, they did not.
So
their card was declined.
Okay.
So
those. I think we figured it out that those were from overseas, right? Because I had somebody write me.
Well, no, we took care of that one. That was a Rogue.
Oh, okay.
That was the Rogue one, yeah. But
okay, so those are still available then.
Yeah, I verified to make sure there was only 4 of the original arts that the transactions actually went through. Okay. Yeah, 2 of them didn't make it in the Great Thanos snap.
Okay. Well, in back to what you were saying. Back to me.
Back to you. Back to Kelsey, guys.
Actually, I got another question for you, Kelsey. Talking about your layouts and your panel designs and stuff like that. I was recently checking out Wally Wood's panels that that work in every situation. But for you yourself, what was your major inspiration for getting your panel layouts and stuff? What you study? How do you do what you do?
Well, that was definitely one of them. I have that actually printed out, and it's on my wall right in front of me, just in case I get stumped. I can easily look at that, and it's amazing. You don't have to even follow that. It's just looking at it, gets your brain thinking about different ways of looking at stuff. Mm-hmm. I also, I used to have a hard time. I used to just lay out figures based on the action that I'm trying to portray, and then I'll work the panels around them. But I started recently within the last 5 to 7 years, 10 years, I can't remember. But I started sticking to Kirby's layouts. That you can find little thumbnails of the different panel layouts that Kirby used, and those are also panel layouts that will always work. It's everything from the 9-panel grid all the way down to the splash. And so what I do is I make sure the storytelling works that way first, so that it's very clear, very easy to read. And sometimes I just stick to it. You can see there, because I was doing something with Graham. Graham's a guy that appreciates probably a more traditional storytelling mold, but I tried to break out of that here and there where it makes it a little more exciting, tilting the shots for action, things like that.
Graham Nolan, right?
Yeah, Graham Nolan. I'm sorry. Yeah, Graham Nolan. This stuff was for the Two-Fisted Manly Tales book that we did. And this is my story with him. He wrote this, but Graham knows his stuff too. So like when he writes the script, he knows, this is too many panels. This is not enough panels. So I didn't have any problem working on his script, but I find that like composing the page and making sure it works in those very kind of structured way. Then when you kind of blow it up after that, as long as you don't go too crazy, it should still all work. I'm a kind of guy, I like breaking panels. I like making crazy splash pages. I like doing things that can only exist as comics. So
yeah. I mean, that's
you have an infinite budget. Like that's what I try to tell my clients like that hire me.
Yeah.
Like, look, with me, like whatever the imagination can come up with, that's what we do. Like, it's not going to cost more money to make more explosions. It's we have an infinite budget now beyond the page rate on this. So
I mean, I have an explosion rate, Luke. I don't know.
Well, speaking of explosion,
well, I also I hate hate, but I think that comics today too have this like issue of you're talking about budget, and there's so much of them just standing around talking. So so my philosophy these days is, especially these days, is if I'm going to have a conversation, they're going to be dodging a bullet while it's happening.
That's a fantastic way to go about it. What I do is when I'm doing my stuff, I'm I guess sort of like an apostate. I'm new to comics, and I have a background in 3D design, so completely different to a lot of guys. What I do is I lay out the characters in 3D and then set up a scene that way, and then hand that to the artist.
I've done that many times, actually.
I want to point out something, guys. This book is 200 pages, and it's only $30 plus shipping.
Yeah, it's basically everything within the last 10 years, because I have right before all the Comicsgate stuff started, I was working on 2 books a month. I was working at Archie on relaunch of Mighty Crusaders. And then I was doing a creator-owned book at Image called Dark Fang about a vampire. So I was kind of covering the old school, traditional kind of fun adventure comics, and then I had like creator-owned, thinking outside the box, hot lady, vampire stuff, and nobody was buying any of it. And I'm like, what's going on? That's kind of what led me into Comicsgate. I'm like, what is happening out there?
That's one of the things that kept me away from comic books. Because, dude, like I graduated from animation. I came back to Panama because I got married.
Panama.
And like down here, there's no comic book work at all, unless you go like outside of into abroad. And I was just doing commercials. My whole life, I've been doing commercials, but I've been in love with this art form ever since I'm like 12.
Yeah, it's very unique.
And now I'm like almost 50. Now I'm diving into it.
Now, are you doing some commentary with this as well? Explaining your thought patterns?
Yeah. Chad really wanted me to. John Malin actually brought it up, and I had not even considered it. I just wanted like a raw art book, and it was. I agreed. I was like, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah. We need to know what you were thinking.
Right.
And so $30 is actually way too little for this book, in my opinion. But that's my opinion, because this is like a wealth of information. This is like finding a treasure chest full of gold. And
But liquor, our prices have never been lower.
our prices have never been lower.
Well, I know what I am capable. Like I'm a consumer of this kind of material, so I'm very much aware of like, what is the price of entry for me? If I saw this book for $30, I would get it. Because, but if it was $70, I'd be like, man, I sure wish I could have had it. But
I'm broke.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I can have the book, or I could eat, or I could be married. You know?
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys heard this or not. So you know Seth Rogen's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Boo.
Boo. Seth Rogen, he is so unfunny. He is one of the least funny comedians in the world. Him and Amy Schumer are. I'm like, how on earth? Yeah, I'm Seth Rogen, or whatever. You suck. Okay, so the U.S. version of the toy. April from the show. Look at the Chinese version of the toy.
Oh yeah, China doesn't like my people. Like I get
Ku Klux Klan. Oh no.
Wait, okay, so the Chinese one is made
She's
her
white. They made her white.
White. The Chinese one is white, but the thing is,
White.
like, I expect that from
White.
China. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, they did that to John Boyega in the Star Wars thing.
Oh, dude, you gotta see the commercials.
Well, they didn't turn him white; they just got rid of him. That's the.
They got rid of him. Yeah.
Well, they have actually on the poster as well. She's white.
White.
Very white.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's so funny. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy.
It's so
She's still
odd.
fat.
I mean,
she's still fat, so that's gotta count.
And we don't mean with a pH, as in pretty hot and tempting.
No.
It's just sad. It's sad the greed, the cash grab that they do. That they'll just, oh yeah, we'll make your own unique one fit to your prejudices. Yeah, just let us know. What do you hate? We'll get rid of it. And it's like, man, what happened to just making art? And then you either get into it or you don't. You know?
I really like this comment. America loved China money long time.
Exactly.
That one's pretty funny. So I thought I would start us off a little bit out in the news today. We do have some numbers for July. Now, you guys
actual numbers?
Yeah, we're gonna have some actual numbers. And you guys are gonna have to help keep an eye on the chat for me. I'm gonna be stuck over here on this.
Ronan says he loves Brave Star too. Same here, pal. One of my faves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, price point matters much is what I'm seeing down here. I got a little. I try to orient the screen to where I've got the newest chat that comes up, but sometimes the chat gets ahead of me while I'm trying to focus on these articles here. All right, so we've got some pro numbers here. Man, I'll tell you, $10 a month for this. Just
Sales
so that
are
I can show
down.
these off.
Yeah, on the chart, sales are down.
$10 a month for
20 author.
ICV2.
ICV2. Yeah.
So that I can show you guys the pro numbers.
They keep stuff behind a paywall, so they can.
I appreciate your service, Luke. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, that's what that's what these the membership fees and stuff go to, so that I can actually have access to these sites to show you what the industry's talking about. Yeah, unit sales of the top 20 superhero titles are down 51% from last year. Man, that sounds like a real kick in the balls, doesn't it, man?
That's 50% down from the year before.
Yes, they're in the negative. People are returning their books after they buy them now. They're like, you take this slop and I'm done with it.
So they're getting paid to take the book home.
Yes. So yeah, that's what's going on here. Right now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Last Ronin hardcover sold 7,644 units in the month of July.
That's the first I've seen it. Holy cow, 7,000? That's all? And that's number one
too. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
I can't remember the last time I haven't seen Marvel or DC in the number one spot. And they were in the at least the 30,000s last time I looked. 7,000 is what we were selling at Antarctic Press on some of our lower selling books.
This is not the first month it's been available.
Yeah.
But per month, I mean, it's still not
blowing my mind.
Now you got Spider-Punk Battle of the Band.
Isn't this market more limited than the? It's not the entire market.
Oh, these are graphic novels. Okay.
No, these are graphic. These are book scans. This is the Circana.
Bookscan. This is from Bookscan.
This is from bookstores. I mean, this is from
bookstores.
Yeah, because they don't count the
comic stores.
The comic stores anymore with their numbers because they're so abysmal.
And they're not counting manga.
Abysmal.
Well, there's like 2 comic stores buying most of those comics, so it's hard to tell what's real.
Yeah, you've got one in California, one in New York, and that's about it. So it looks like Batman 89 sold just under 2,000 units. Last month, Watchmen 2019 edition, 1,854 units. Batman Year One Not doing too bad for an older property. 1,200 units. The Sandman. Okay, now we're getting into, these are numbers that we do on the regular.
Yeah, exactly. This
comics.
is like high tier indie crowdfunders.
Oh yeah,
and they get to keep all the money. So
yeah,
they would have canceled every one of these books at these numbers just 10 years ago.
10 years ago,
absolutely would have. Yep,
would have been the end of it.
How times have changed.
A little juxtaposition here. Now we've got, these are for the top 20 author graphic novels. So these are going to be not superhero, but you're looking at almost 9,000 units for Lore Olympus, Volume 4 hardcover. So Lore Olympus is still doing quite well month to month.
I've never heard of any of these.
Lore Olympus is a top-notch product, though.
Yeah,
webtoon.
That's the
webtoon strip
webtoon,
about
right?
Greek gods, kind of romance aimed at a female readership.
Yeah, okay, I have seen that. I did a little research on webcomics. I know what you're talking about.
With all of the pandering they're doing and the news of the banning genderqueer found itself in the 12th position from Oni Press. It's still under Oni Press. They said they were dropping that, didn't they?
No, the last statement I saw from them, they were proud to be promoting that into the libraries and schools.
Yeah, jackasses.
Little kids. That's what we do.
Yeah,
they should read Heavy Metal magazine like us kids from our time.
Yeah, exactly. Dude, right.
Right to jail.
Yeah, right to jail. Yeah, Heavy Metal is
gone.
They're done. They're gone.
Yeah.
So now here's where we really get into the numbers. Right now we've got, this is the top 20 manga comic books.
Look at these numbers.
Same
look.
One
Same
Piece.
area. Yep.
Volume 103, 30,000 units moved last month.
Still
alone.
I've been canceled at 30,000 copies from Marvel. I mean,
right.
This is low. This is
low. But this is a resale.
That's volume 103.
And this is just in America.
Just in America. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, you come to Latin America, everything is anime and manga.
Yeah.
So these numbers aren't as high here as they are in other places. They're killing it, man. They are absolutely killing it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much speculation as to why that is. You know, they're catering to more subject matter. They're doing I don't know that any of that is true. I think that they have a much easier way to get attention. For one thing, is they do anime. So you want to see the anime. It looks cool. You want more story. You know, you got these guys like Warner Brothers. And Marvel, and they're making these movies, and then they go see the comic book, and it's nothing like what they're seeing. So it's and you go watch anime, and then you go read the manga, and it's almost the same thing.
It is almost identical because the same creator, the same.
And the thing with anime is that it's not really like a walk in the park. It's a lot of stuff you have to go through, because there's a lot. Like right now, like there's this thing called isekai, which is basically like you die a loser and you wake up in a magical world as a superhero. Like all animes are that now, and just like freaking hate it. And the thing is, like, I'm not really an anime fan, but dude, like I want to see what's happening in animation.
It does get boring, and that's the thing.
It's really boring.
Well, you do start to see because they've found, it's like what happened with the music industry. Every decade they do this. They find what's the formula that works, and then they just copy the formula until a band like Queen comes along and says, you know, F your formula, we're going to do what we want. And then they think, oh, well, now that's going to be our new formula. Just F the formula.
It's a new thing, because I mean, I hear all these kids talking about, oh, it's new, manga's new. I've been reading it since like the late '80s. So
exactly.
It's not new at all. I mean,
it's not new, but it's definitely caught. It's done what I was hoping would happen for us, is that Harry Potter moment, you know, where a whole group of people start noticing it, and then it starts people coming in droves, and that's they're having the boom that, you know, I was kind of hoping would come back to America, to American comics. We're coming. It's coming. We're sorting ourselves out right now. We're going to get back on top.
It's a combination between accessibility and entertainment value.
It's just what Luke says. He says we will overtake them the next 5 years because we have the people who actually read / love comics in the audience, and the creators. See, I mean, the first hour we've talked about is how much we love comic books in the sequential art of storytelling. I mean, comics is our passion, and we're not here because we don't, you know, because we're trying to get that movie deal. We're here because this is the deal. This is what we want. Yes.
And this stuff, it goes through cycles. If you're paying attention to the American comic book industry, we've gone through several ups and downs over the history of comics. So, it's just a matter of like priorities and like a video game. Like my whole thing is about active and passive entertainment, and I want more active entertainment. That's why I watch a lot of YouTube or play video games. Video games is very active, a lot of them, so
I'm in that same boat.
Yeah, you're engaged. So that's one thing comics has in its favor, is that it can be active. It can get
when you make a comic book fan,
I gotta ask though, what games do you play, Kelsey?
Well, I used to play just about everything, but right now I've narrowed it down to the one game I'll probably play for the rest of my life, and that's Minecraft.
Oh, wow.
Minecraft.
I know that sounds weird to say. I'm nearly a 50-year-old man playing Minecraft, but I swear it takes me out of my day. I just kind of like have fun with it, and it reminds me of Legos, which is something I was big in.
That game was made for adults that love Legos. It was made for adults.
You guys have time for games?
Have you checked out?
No, not really. No.
Have you checked out Space Engineers? Same premise, but in space and with physics.
Oh no,
physics!
I like that.
Here's some fun numbers, guys. This is all of the adult titles together. Okay. So this is going to show you that One Piece Volume 103 came out at 30,000 units, and Kaiju number 8, Volume 7, come out at 15,000. Demon Slayer, there's 13,000. Goodbye Eerie. Again, Viz Media, Yen Press, Viz Media, Square Enix. We finally go, okay, where do we go? In no place in the adults do you see
IDW.
Do you see a U.S. comic book company in graphic novels until number 16 with IDW, topping the charts with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin, probably one of the last good properties.
Yeah. Luke,
truly good stories.
America?
What's that?
Del Rey's not American?
Oh, maybe it is. Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah, I think Del Rey's up there with
Lower Olympus. I don't see it.
Yeah, Lower Olympus, I think.
Number 10.
I'm not
Square
sure
Enix?
what.
Del Rey. I missed
Del
it.
Rey.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So you've got Del Rey in there, but that's yeah. But as far as major comic book companies, you do not see Marvel or DC on that top list at all.
Right.
Nowhere.
Didn't. I mean, like IDW makes the list, but they're going out of business.
Yep.
Yeah, they just canceled the big news there with IDW. This one guy came on and said he just did a whole thing, got signed up, was about to release the comic, and then they canceled it.
That was in June 1st or 2nd, somewhere there. Yeah, he come on. He's like, "Hey, I just got my the green light for my first IDW property, and I'm
own
property. I'm doing this." And then he comes out here at beginning of August. It's like they canceled it, man. It's done. It's my dreams shattered.
But
he
he's
didn't make
moved
it too
on to
much,
Kickstarter, so he is going to keep going.
Very good for him.
Yeah.
Very good for him. Because you do not need traditional publishing right now in this field.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
If you are still thinking to go the way of the traditional publisher, I saw that Donald DeLay was sharing a screenshot of what a guy named Will Callaghan said. Now, I know Will Callaghan.
Yeah, Will.
I think anybody that's been around has probably had a run-in with Will Callaghan at some point. And if you haven't, you will have one. He has a tendency to kind of self-destruct in most situations. And
I like Will. We've been hanging out for a long time.
Well, that makes one of us.
Nice.
Yeah, you might be the only person that I've ever heard say that I like Will Callaghan.
I like him.
I don't know. I've never heard anybody. Well, it's because you're famous. He's gonna be nice to you. I mean, truth, right? But anyway, this guy, he's talking about crowdfunding. You get less numbers. You've got to make more. You've got to go to the rattle publisher, and clearly talking out of the cheeks, and not the ones on his face. Just saying. But guys, I don't know if you guys heard this or not, but heavy metal artist Saverio Tenuta, has passed away at the age of 54, way too young to go.
Saverio Tenuta.
Saverio Tenuta.
What's his works? I'm not familiar with the name.
The Scarlet Blade, Azuna, and the Mask of Fudo is a couple of things that he's done.
Italian.
He's Italian, and he worked with. He did a lot with heavy metal. just
Oh, that looks interesting.
yeah, he did some stuff on Image there, obviously.
Publishing his work.
Oh
Yeah, dude. That's the thing. Like
Contact.
Italy has a great comic book tradition. I mean, they call it fumetti over there, but dude, they have books for years, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with the.
The Diabolik came from there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean,
he's more of an underground indie comic artist that
When did he pass up? What did he die? Does it say? It doesn't really say.
Junior began his career. It starts with born in Rome. Let me see. He also the thing he's just talking about where.
Well, heavy metal. I mean, everybody's talking about it's gone now. I mean, it was gone a while ago.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's not saying why.
I mean,
it's been gone. Yeah, it's been gone.
Like Marvel
was
and
there.
DC, it's been The Walking Dead for like the last 10 years.
Well,
It's like
I mean, beyond that, even Mad
Been
Magazine
zombified.
closed its doors, and then it kind of came back for a minute, and then it's like, oh, Mad Magazine's gone. I'm like, wasn't it? It was already gone.
Yeah, they're still doing reprints though. That stuff's going to be evergreen. There's so much good, great Mad stuff that
I love it.
People rediscover every couple years.
Oh yeah, Druna.
You'll always see it out there in reprint in one.
Yeah,
form
Mad
or another.
Magazine for me seems like the locust husk on the tree. I mean, that's what it was. It was dead on the inside for a long time. And
we'll have a
It's like-
renaissance of this stuff. That stuff
it's
can
like
always
those-
come back.
Yeah, that's like those EC comics. You're never going to see those go away. They're always anybody who gets the rights to them are going to come back and reprint them because they're evergreen.
Yeah,
They're just there's always new folks discovering how great they were. So Bill Gaines had a tremendous eye for talent.
All right. So we've been talking about lately how the alternate cover has gone kind of mad. People are kind of upset with that. Too many alt covers. These comic book shops are forced to buy so many of cover A so that they can get the rare variant, that's 1 for 25 or whatever for their dedicated fans and customers at their shops. Well, it seems that we may be nearing a peak. So Vault gives away the A cover and charges for the variants. So in a sign that we may be reaching the peak of the cover variant phenomenon, Vault Comics will give away copies of the A cover version of Unnatural Order #1 by MCU screenwriter Christopher Yost and artist Val Rodriguez. Free to retailers. He's giving them away free to retailers and continue to charge as normal for the variant cover versions. The company announced the marked price of the standard version will remain $4.99 so they can be sold at that price. The free comics will be made available in bundles of 25. So they're going to give away the primary book, the primary cover, for free, so retailers will buy the variant covers. And then the retailer can sell it for a $5 profit.
I mean, that's good, right?
Yeah,
It's a nice idea, but I can really see where retailers would abuse it.
Oh yeah.
You mean charging too much?
No, like ordering 5,000 copies of the A cover.
But they're not returnable. That they would just end up eating.
They're free.
Oh, they're free. But there's got to be a limit on that,
free.
right?
Bundles of 25.
I hope so.
Unnatural Order #1 was originally solicited for July of 2023. For July 19th of 2023, but the comic was delayed, and then the decision was made to offer the standard cover for free in bundles of 25. The original solicitation was canceled, and new orders for free copies by bundle solicited. This was done at the request of our distributors to make sure there was no order confusion with retailers. Vault VP of Sales and Marketing David Disanyaki, I screwed that up, told ICV2. In addition to this,
I think you're pretty close. Yeah,
I think it'd be better to get the variant for if you buy 25, because Marvel would make it like 200, 300 copies of whatever for one variant cover that nobody really wants. So, I mean, do you think that could still work if they just lower the order to like 25? You buy 25 copies, you get the variant by Adam Hughes or whatever.
Well, here I'm wondering about this because it seems odd. In addition to the standard cover, Vault is offering open to order net priced premium variants by Tula Lotte and Maria Wolf. So if they're open to order, does that mean they can just order as many as they want? So are there going to be more variants out there in the wild than cover A? Is the only way they're thinking they're going to get? I don't know. This just seems weird.
It does.
This seems weird as all get out.
Let's
We
say
know
it's
that
It does
counterintuitive
seem
to
wide
scarcity.
open to abuse unless you've thrown limitations on it.
Yeah.
I have a feeling that this is going to bite Vault in the butt, and we're going to find out that they're not going to be paying some artists, or they're going to be going bankrupt on this. This does not feel like a smart business move.
It feels desperate, actually.
It feels very desperate.
Unless they got a deal, because from what I know, it doesn't cost much to, once you got your book on the printer, to switch it out for the cover. It's the interior that's usually a big deal. So they might have got a deal on a large print run.
Maybe.
And they just switched out a bunch of covers, so they're not eating as much as it looks like.
Hopefully.
But I don't know.
So here's a quote. We know this has been a tougher than expected year for retailers, said Vault CEO Damian Wassel, in a statement accompanying the announcement. So we're making a game-changing move. We're taking our biggest book of the year and giving it to you for free. Give it away or sell it. It's up to you. What do we ask in return? Simple. Make this the best-selling comic of 2023. Get every copy you order in the hands of a customer within a week. And then, heck, maybe we'll keep up this crazy gambit with all our new comics.
But there's no incentive for them to do that.
Zero incentive.
Yeah, I mean, if they sold, make this the best-selling comic, and then we'll give you all the, extra copies or whatever. I don't know. It just seems backwards.
It just seems bass-ackwards, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem like good business, but someone's trying it, and I commend him for trying to do something a little bit different.
It's great to see the attempt. Yeah. It'd be interesting to see how it washes out.
Yeah, here, you throw this away.
Yeah.
All right. So you throw it away.
I don't know if this word applies, but my mind is saying cockamamie schemes.
Cockamamie, yeah. Wizard of the Coast and digital gaming down in Q2. Hasbro writes off $25 million on the D&D movie.
Oops.
It couldn't happen to a better company.
To a better company, yeah.
Oops.
Couldn't happen to a better company. Sales in Hasbro Wizards of the Coast and digital gaming segments were down 11%. Woo!
Yeah.
Woo! 11% from 419.8 million. Oh my gosh, these numbers. Down to 375.6 million, which doesn't, still huge numbers. But with a company that has as much overhead as that, I'm going to apologize for the dog. Let me shut the door.
That's all right.
Something's got her worked up out there.
I thought it was Pedro's.
That was mine.
That's my job.
That's Layla this week doing that. That's Layla.
I hope these guys just go belly up and then purchased by somebody that actually knows what the heck they're doing with those IPs.
I mean, I hope they go belly up and they get bought by a Saudi prince.
They've pumped so much money into Magic the Gathering, and sales were down. As much as they've invested, sales were down 15%.
I don't know. Magic the Gathering, as much as people love that game, it always seemed predatory to me. You know what I mean? It's like, you want to have the nicest deck, you gotta invest like $100 gajillion to just beat up everybody. Like, I don't know. That to me is not a game. That's like gambling.
Well, now they're investing in the Lord of the Rings expansion for that, right? And they think that it's going to be more of an evergreen set that will have a longer tail. But here's the problem: I'm seeing users complain about the cards they're seeing.
Oh, remember Aragon Jenkins?
Yeah,
that went really well.
That one was like a lead balloon.
Yeah, the black Aragorn. Ugh. Dude, I'm black, and I said no. I don't want the black Aragorn.
Yeah, so Hasbro took a $25 million write-down on Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves, which released on March 31st, due to lower-than-expected box office receipts. I watched the movie. It wasn't bad, but I watched it at home on streaming.
I watched it. I skipped ahead to like half of it, and I'm just like, no. I couldn't handle it.
They were inclusive with the dragon. I didn't enjoy that. They had a dragon.
More bad news for Funko guys.
Before you jump into that, a new trend that I found was kind of interesting, because I'm friends with Susan Van Camp, and she painted a lot of the early cards for Magic, the supplement packs. A lot of the material for supplement packs. Mm-hmm. She is making a good money right now, but painting over original Wizard cards and adding new characters.
Oh wow.
And making them unique. Just the little tiny cards. She sits there with a magnifying glass and paints in new characters back behind or whatever, and charges good money for it. So it's these cards aren't as they don't seem to be as valuable as they used to be.
Russ Leach makes a good point. Giving it away for free does not make it the best-selling comic. It makes it the best free comic.
Yep. It's the best free comic. That's not a sale.
If retailers sell it for a fraction of the price, the usual smoke and mirrors from a broken industry.
Yep.
It's exactly what we're seeing.
Points.
The traditional publishing is the writing was on the wall a long time ago for it.
Mm-hmm.
A long time ago for it. And these shops have been propped up by games. They've been propped up by collectibles.
Funko Pop, yeah.
Funko Pop particularly, and now Funko Pop is in more, again in the news, 30% reduction in products and post $73 million loss.
That's higher than IDW.
That's higher than IDW.
Well, they don't make anything new. They just the same stuff.
And nobody wants the IPs they're making stuff off of right now.
Yeah, dude. Like Rings of Power Funko Pop. Yeah, that's a big seller.
Look, here's the thing. If Funko would license out to indie creators at a reasonable price to make small runs of, I don't know, 2,000 or so Funko Pops off of independent or creator-owned comics and characters, so that they can sell on their campaigns, they would start to make money, because there's so many people that would, and that would create, because then a licensed Funko Pop for let's say Cyberfrog, and let's say when Shank comes out, a licensed Funko Pop would go gangbusters. I don't think they would sell thousands. I think they would. I mean, just a couple thousand. I think they would sell, probably five-figure numbers on the Funko Pop alone.
I don't want to bash IPs by saying this, but I think I want to bash Funko Pop. Like, this is going the way of the Beanie Baby. You know what I mean? Like, it was cute. It's not that cute anymore.
Yeah.
It's a fidget spinner thing all over
again. Yeah,
right?
Exactly. Right. Yep. Yeah, like the fidget spinner, like it ended up being like a sex toy. So I think Funko Pop is going that way too.
I'm not quite sure how that would work, but that's okay.
I know women, man. I know several.
So that's why she got the house.
You apparently that's why she got the house. That was a zinger right there.
I do the job, and then I get paid.
Dude, I'm not excusing myself for anything. I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Pedro. I'm sorry.
Hey, don't be. Don't be.
YouTube won't let me say Funko.
Junko. There you go.
Junko.
In one chat.
What the Funko?
Get the Funko. Get the Funko.
Here's the thing. By creating, and here's the other idea. By doing short Funko runs, it creates a scarcity.
Yep.
And then interest in the genre.
Yep.
That said, I won't miss them when they are gone.
Well, that's like Beanie Babies. I mean, it's the same thing.
It's the same thing. It's just,
we'll look back on it in a decade or so and laugh.
Remember
Funko Pop.
So
wipe the tears from our eyes.
Mark my words. Funko sex toys.
The people that lived
I'm sure.
in this house,
that I understand. Yeah.
The people that lived in this house before I did the dining room, they had shelves all along the dining room, from floor to ceiling, covered in Funko Pops.
Yeah.
Oh man!
I have never bought one of those god awful things.
No, never. Me neither.
It's been bought for me.
Yeah. Same here.
I was going to make my own computer, and I was looking at guys making their own computer, and this one guy would build them with lights in them and stuff, and he'd put in depending on the theme, he would put a Funko Pop in it with a glass case, and I was like, that's kind of cool. I kind of dig that, actually. That's neat. But
you could do something else, like a Spawn, McFarlane.
Right, you could do anything. Yeah, it wasn't really the Funko that was getting me. It was just like the idea of making your computer like a showpiece in a way.
Yeah, like a shelf.
Look at this! What beautiful Portland, Oregon, shall we say a liberal safe haven?
Yeah, the land of
safe being a sarcastic statement.
Yeah.
The window of Red Castle Games in Portland, Oregon was broken around 2 a.m. on Sunday, August 6th. And the burglar alarm went off, but owner Michael Mesitic told Fox 12, "Unfortunately, we didn't get an immediate response." That's an understatement. For the next 5 hours, burglars came in and out of the store, emptying the shelves. At 6 a.m., surveillance videos shows 2 people rolling a trash can full of merchandise out of the store.
Oh, man.
But isn't Portland the bastion of all that's good and holy and saintful? And
Of course it is.
stuff? I mean, that's
Didn't they defund their police?
Yeah.
I know this is going to bite me in the ass later on because I live in Canada, right? But you get what it's going to come around.
You get what you vote for.
But you get what you vote for.
Yeah, look
there
who's
you are. Yes.
I'm up against the wall. Well, that didn't turn out.
Dude, I mean, I don't know. Like, I have no leg to stand up because I live in Latin America. But if you do something like that, you just disappear.
Yeah.
The police will pick you up, and it's like, what happened to it? Nobody knows.
Gray Wolf Graphics says he has no idea what Funko Pops are. They're just glorified bobbleheads, really, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's a bobblehead.
Luke, when he was working at the comic shop, he hated selling those things.
Hey, but money's money. Then greenbacks, baby.
Yeah. Greenbacks.
I like Comic Book Black Belt's comment earlier, $13,000 in comics. That's 2 million copies of Squirrel Girl right there.
Yeah, around.
Yep. Oh, but that's not all. At around 3 a.m. on July 28th, someone smashed the glass door of Time Warp Comics in Boulder, Colorado, and walked off with about 25 high-value comics with a total worth of $14,000.
I'm seeing a flaw in the reporting there. High-value comics.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's in.
That means there are old issues.
That's all you need.
Well, that kind of brings me into one of my second topics for today's show is how these older, flawed comics, these ones where, the people were working really hard to try to get them out, so there's mistakes in art and coloring and stuff like that, and they're very rare because there were so few of them that were printed. They're the ones that people covet now, not Squirrel Girl or these other ones that people,
people don't like Squirrel Girl?
Not to change the subject. That brings up a very interesting point I heard recently, and I can't remember who it was from, but it was all about it was tying into the AI debate that's going on right now, and that AI will eventually be the kind of the penultimate ideal of these things that we are not, that'll be perfect, it'll have everything it needs to be, but then it'll create us another market for people that enjoy the things that are imbued with flaws and human aspects that make it imperfect and therefore perfect. Because all these comics that we grew up on were not perfect. Yep. But they were perfect, But
we're not you're not supposed to be perfect. Like
they couldn't draw feet.
Right.
And the music industry has already shown how that goes.
Yeah,
13,000 teeth in there.
I got $1 million idea right now. Somebody's got to create a comic book company called No AI. In about 10 years, you'll be killing it.
AI free, just like gluten free.
I always love seeing the gender flags on the comic book stuff. It just makes me feel warm and fuzzy inside.
What do you mean? That's God's promise. What are you talking about? Gender?
It's just a rainbow, right?
Dude, that's like color vomit. They add stuff and adding stuff.
It's called pandering, and I don't think. Anyway, so James Laws, that's a fun name, James Laws, owner of the Hive Comic Shop
in Texas,
in Odessa, Texas, tells News
sounds like
West
a very
9,
judgmental person.
Yeah,
very Texan name. Yeah,
that he's closing the store, which he has owned since 2019, due to the uncertain economy and downturn in sales. Right now is a tough time because we can feel the ramifications of everything shutting down, he said. And people just don't have disposable income to buy collectibles, cards, comics, and stuff like they did in 2020 and 2021. I say that's bull.
Yeah.
Look at how many comics that are crowdfunding that are making money.
Yep.
Last month, Fund My Comic has only been open for 4.5-5 months. Last month, we raised for the people on the site more than $40,000 on this little tiny site.
Awesome.
There we go.
Yeah.
I mean, there is money there. We have like less than a 0.01% part of the comic book audience that even knows we exist yet. Over $40,000 raised to the site. Look what's happening on Indiegogo. Look what's happening on Kickstarter. Oh, sorry, Pink site. What's happening on Green site. You see what's happening. You look at guys like, Kelsey made $18,000 on his
on a sketchbook.
Yep. Ethan opens up a campaign and makes $500,000. Isom opens up a campaign and makes $2 million. It's,
but wait, those guys are bigots.
That's right. I'm sorry. Those are.
I think there's something that is important in this article that we did. They're not
Ku Klux Klan. Oh no.
They're not just selling comics, though. A lot of the other stuff, the collectibles, the games, whatever else, they're doing terrible as well. So, like,
but also you have to take into account retailing, especially comic shop retailing. It's been around since the 80s, so that's a specialty market. They don't just sell comics there either, but it's quality and entertainment value that's killing them. It's just killing them. I don't know how a retailer out there now that believes in Marvel and DC are actually out there surviving.
Well,
I really don't.
We're still serving, like, the fans that, us that grew up reading these comics, and the kids aren't there. But the kids haven't stopped reading comics.
No,
they just don't want to go out. They don't want to go to a comic store. They don't want physical media in their house.
Either that or they're running to the bookstore and picking up anime.
Well, not even that. You look at some of these kids. Watch Vaughn. Vaughn Coleman, when he's on, his house is empty, and I see so many of these younger generations. Their house is just empty. They don't like stuff. So, like, this is why the phone comic.
I love it. Like, they don't like stuff.
They don't. We come from a generation that loves stuff.
Right,
we love stuff. They like to engage with the comic and then go about their day, like the way we used to do with our morning newspaper. We'd read the funnies and then move on with our day. That's what's happening right now.
Yeah,
they don't have to come to terms with that.
Yeah, but they don't like stuff because they can't afford a house. So we're
guys, we got a new name in the chat this morning. Welcome, Evele Music. Saying I spend more on this stuff now than at any other point in my life.
Yeah,
absolutely. He says if you cut out Netflix and Disney and Hulu and this and that, and suddenly you have a lot of income. And you redirect it towards good art.
There you are.
It's exactly what you do.
Yep.
So, is FMC the gold site? I think it might be the gold site.
The gold standard.
We like to think so.
I like that. The gold standard if it's not the gold site.
Well, if the other ones can't get their head out of their butts, and let's get on with commerce and having good time and all this other thing that we're trying to do. Then yes, FMC is the gold standard, and as far as I'm concerned, you don't have competition. So
and we don't really consider ourselves competition with anybody else. We're doing something completely different. And there's enough money out there for everybody.
Yes,
if you know what you're doing.
Yes.
Some of these people I think are allergic to money. I feel like sometimes the mainstream people are now, they've become allergic to money, I try not to go and cover all the negative news because, man, there's so much negative news about what's happening in Hollywood right now that we could cover. And I just don't want to do it. But I will say this. There was some positive news that I think it was Warner Brothers said that they saved like $7 billion because of the writers and actors strike.
Oh yeah, that was funny.
So not only do they not lose the money they would have, they have saved money, and I think they're realizing now that maybe all this stuff is not that important.
Well, there's
let's look into this AI actor stuff. Yeah, let's do that.
There's a special clause in all of these contracts about acts of God and being able to cancel projects, and the writers' strike and the actors' strike
an act of God.
Are not natural.
Jesus. And
it's given them reason to get rid of a lot of the stuff that they've spent a ton of money on and just chalk it off as a tax write-off.
So we might actually be seeing the end of this age of stupidity and transitioning into something fantastic.
I mean,
I don't think it's ready yet.
Yeah, I'm a pessimist.
It's almost there.
Nature, so
I'm trying to be an optimist.
It's almost there. It's almost there. It is coming. It's like what's happening with publishing. So again, traditional publishing is going away. It's evolving into this realm of crowdfunding. But crowdfunding is not going to be the only piece. And I'm afraid some people are going to get stuck in the crowdfunding model like some others are stuck on the traditional publishing model.
Leveling up.
And it's going to it's going to leave them behind.
Yep.
Because the crowdfunding model will wear out backers. It really will. It will, because exactly what Kelsey said. They want to consume their media in the morning like their newspaper.
Yeah.
You can't do that with a crowdfunded book.
Yeah.
Crowdfunded books are collectibles. They're higher priced. If they do want physical media, that's not how they're going to get it. A lot of crowdfunded books, they refuse to put up digital.
Well, and there's a different form factor too. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the manhwa, the Korean.
Yeah,
it's kind of taken over this deconstructed comic thing, which isn't even a real comic. I've added it up, and it ends up being like 5 pages. It's just each panel is separated so that you scroll down, but it does have the effect of creating an infinite reveal, whereas we only have the page flip. They can create a reveal and a surprise at any moment.
Every panel.
And I kind of like that. You know,
the thing with Korea is that Korea, like, since they don't have that many resources as a nation, they are like the entertainers of Asia. Like, those guys are the best storytellers. Like, they keep
they're so good. Yeah,
dude. Movies.
I love their movies. Actually.
Manhwa. It's just like, dude, even music, like the K-pop, has taken Asia by storm. You see people down here in Latin America, like enjoy K-pop, like you don't know Korean, you look ridiculous. But dude, like those guys are everywhere.
Yeah.
And that's something that we have to start taking notes, man.
I mean, we just looked at what the mainstream numbers are. I don't even like to call it mainstream anymore. I like to call it corporate comics and independent comics.
You're right.
That's the difference, because there is way more money, way more traffic that's happening out there in crowdfunding and off people's websites and independent books being sold at conventions. It is booming business out there if you know how to tell a good story. And Just Call Me Insane is perfectly right in this one. Kids need something to be excited about for Western comics, and we just don't have that outside of indie. But that's the thing. Indie is so readily available. If we could do a better job of marketing, and if we could pool our resources in some way to push that out there, we would see a lot more business than what we're even seeing right now. And that's kind of the point of Fund My Comic and Iron Age Distribution, is to consolidate those efforts to bring an audience into this kind of digital realm of shopping for books that aren't just crowdfunding, but that's why we have the continuous storefront, so that they can buy books that are already ready to ship. You know, easily you could do that from your own website, and a lot of people do. But it can be very difficult for people to know where to go to find all of these books that are available to them.
There's a lot of people out there doing the good work, like guys like Comics Borg, and even as simple as like Lucius, who goes out there and reposts links to everything. There are good people out there who are going the extra mile to try to get the word out on all these great books. So if anybody has that inkling and they're like, well, I don't really have a story to tell, but I really want to get involved, there's so many other ways to get involved and make this so much easier and better process for everyone.
Ooh, Hojo says, my LCS was purchased by an indie creator 9 years now, and every year his sales go up. He listened to the customers, no Funkos. He rearranged everything, and he brought in indie stuff too.
There you go.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. If
that
you
sounds
listen,
like a great store.
Imagine listening to the customer.
Well, I mean, my store, I got a store here as well that they're expanding. They just bought the store next to them and kind of knocked out the wall and added more comics. And they do sales. They cater to comics. They have everything I've ever wanted, and it's still very comic book focused. And they do have a little bit of the other stuff, but it's always off to the corner, and they keep it a comic book shop. So they're still out there, and they're still so much fun to go to. I really love going to a good comic shop.
On the counter to that, I recently was talking to a guy online, and he got kicked out of his hobby shop / comics store over saying the wrong thing. So you can just go, you can go the exact opposite direction and fail completely. But it's good to see that people are actually turning stuff around a bit and catering to the indie stuff.
Chris says that he loves stuff and a guy under my mountain of funny books. I get it. Some people do still love stuff.
Yeah,
but
I
we're
have a
talking about
nerd nest here. Yeah, I mean,
but we're talking about different generations.
Yeah,
and we have to
thing.
create our products, make it accessible,
Yeah.
not only to multiple markets like the U.S. and United States. You know, not to the U. Yeah, imagine U.S. United States. I only think about one thing, America. Right. So, but not only the United States, but the UK and Canada and other places as well. We have to make it accessible to
South
them,
America, Mexico,
but we need to make
America.
it accessible to different generations as well.
Yeah, dude. And the thing's like, it's not like they don't have like expendable income, because they do buy those ridiculous Pokemon pajamas. They have money for,
Yes.
they have money for idiotic stuff. So it just we have to make it attractive to them, because they do consume a truckload of manga. And that's
So,
the thing. It's just,
Russ says the Shadow Kingdom will be coming to FMC. The idea about FMC is to give the creators more control of their business and more control of their money.
Yeah, there's more coming. I get a lot of questions. What do you think about FMC? And I'm like, oh, let me tell you. Here's this is good. Is it easy to use in the back end? Way easy. You know, I did it by myself, and I'm not very good at this stuff. And whatever I had questions with, Luke Stone and the gang were there to help me out. No problem. So I guarantee it's going to keep growing.
Yeah. Well, you know, the truth is, I've been doing crowdfunding things since 2015.
Yeah.
And I've been doing a lot of books. I may not be well known, but I'm well versed. And after hooking up with Randy and learning a lot about the old school industry, I'm learning where we're going and able to kind of predict a little bit. But I know what I want and what we need as an Arrow Comics for what would work best for us.
Yeah.
What would be more efficient for us. And it turns out that those tools could be used across the board for a lot of people. Yeah. So it really is catering to the need of the creators. So that they can cater to the need of the fan is really what it is.
Yeah.
It's giving you the tools to do that. And even this week, right now, we've already started a new upgrade to where you can now, here very soon, you're going to be able to mark your transactions as being fulfilled. And you're going to be able to categorize them. And then the next upgrade is going to be a sort priority on your rewards. And then after the sort priority, we're going to put in the ability to filter your campaigns, your transactions by what they got, and whether it's fulfilled and whether it's been withdrawn or not, and what country it's from. So you're going to be able to filter in so that you can actually just block and see on the screen what you want in those areas. So we're working on those things to make those tools even easier. And next year, my goal is to implement item-based inventory, which will then make way for weight-based shipping.
Oh.
Yeah, so that's my ultimate goal.
Nice.
So we've got a lot of work, but obviously the more we grow, the more campaigns that come on, the more people that tip, the easier it's going to be for us to do that. So right now, every dollar is going back into right now every dollar is going back in to pay for more upgrades. And so it is going to. It's not a competition. It's a true alternative to adapting to the new, what I think is going to be the new normal of self-publishers. Traditional publishing going out the door. It's self-publishing that is going to make the way for kind of who we are, where we're going.
Well, somebody will eventually take note. I mean, when I was at Antarctic Press, of course, it was still kind of the boom post Image. There was still a little bit of heat left, but not much. But a woman from USA Today saw what Ben Dunn was doing at Antarctic Press called Warrior Nun, and thought it was weird and interesting, and she made a whole article about it, interviewed him, and once that got over the AP wire, every news outlet across the United States picked up on the story, and it was a huge deal. So, like, again, I keep, this is things that could happen. I mean, somebody could write something like, think comics are dead. Look what's happening over here. Boom, it's on.
I actually,
didn't Warrior Nun ended up in Netflix? I think so.
They sold it though. Yeah, unfortunately, they don't own it anymore.
So Mike Barron has been a great supporter of Fun My Comic.
Yeah.
In fact, he puts people in contact with me to do interviews, and so I did one by Christian Toto. I think I had a phone interview with, talking about Fun My Comic, and so he should be writing something up on Fun My Comic soon.
Awesome.
So I mean, more and more of that's happened. We've been mentioned in Fox News. People like that we allow conservative voices, people with different opinions, freedom to do that kind of stuff. And here's the thing: the fans don't care about all of the Comicsgate, not Comicsgate thing. They don't care about the, you know, they don't really care about how most people vote. They don't really care even if someone makes something that offends them. For the most part, the average fan just wants good stories, and they will go wherever the creator goes to get them, and they will go wherever they know they can trust that people are doing that.
Beyond that, Tampa was a real wake-up call because there was a lot of people who just wanted to have a nice weekend. And what's happening this weekend? Oh, there's a Comic-Con. Let's get the family together, go buy a lightsaber, and eat lunch, have a good time. They have no idea what's happening culturally in comics. They have no idea. They haven't seen a comic since they read Archie when their mom got it for them when they were sick. So they don't have any idea. And these conventions are geared toward pop culture, but they don't have a large comic book presence. So to me, I just see opportunity.
So much opportunity.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you start closing your eyes off to that and all you focus on is the culture war, which, Fun My Comic is in the middle of the culture war only as a weapon, as a arrow in the quiver for creators, that's what their job is. That's what their calling is to be a part of the culture war. But it's also an arrow in the quiver of those creators that they just want to be able to serve their fans better and tell better stories and be able to improve their business and to keep more of their own money and their own freedom in the process of that. There is, at the end of the day, comic books are comic books. They're funny books.
Yeah.
I
think we should stop calling it a war. Because the last time I was in a war, like bombs were going off for real.
Yeah.
There's too much.
And what Kelsey was saying about Tampa, it's true. Like when you go into the real world, this culture war, within comics at least, means nothing.
It means nothing to them.
No, it's just really a handful. This is a skirmish, not a war.
It's a schoolyard fight in some cases.
It's a slap fight.
Yeah. Not just that, but you talk to the people that did San Diego this year, and they'll tell you comics are very viable.
Well,
as a source of entertainment. There's a lot of people that made a lot of money at San Diego this year.
Look at this
Hollywood
work that
wasn't
Russ has
there.
done.
What a surprise!
Yep.
That's why people made money, because Hollywood wasn't there.
Yeah. Well, people are starting to realize that they don't need Hollywood to have fun. That it's become more bull that they're dealing with from Hollywood than anything.
Yeah, because it's like
they feel like they're in an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
Well, it's not real. Like for me personally, like I am one of the biggest movie nuts. It's been that way for as long as I can remember. I remember seeing, Empire in the theater when I was a tiny child. My mom took me, and it was. I forgot my point of that. What was I? What were we talking?
We're talking about the war. We're talking about the
Just
war.
The wonderment of the movies.
Yeah.
And entertainment is just gone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you made my point. I'll go with your point. That works.
Yeah.
So check out what this guy did.
What's out there now to what's out there then, the older stuff comes across so much better because the quality's all there.
Dude,
well,
I was
remember
watching Ice Pirates.
Oh yeah, I love Ice Pirates.
Movie, man. Just you don't need that many effects.
But I mean, when I was young, it was every movie was something new and different, or it was kind of, there were very few that were derivative of another movie, and generally those were fun too. I liked watching those, like Abyss, and then you had Deep Star Six.
Spaceballs.
I liked them both. Yeah, you got Star Wars, you got Spaceballs.
Battle Beyond the Stars.
But now, I love that. But now you got it's just repackaging. Or relaunching the same thing with the same stuff. Like I watched I happen to like the director that did the remake of Total Recall. And so I'm like, well, I'll go watch what he did. So I went and saw it, and it was so boring. And then they took all these lines that you love from the movie and reconceptualized them so that they're not as fun. And I'm like, this is awful. Why would you remake a brilliant movie?
Right.
You know, so I don't understand what they're doing, and I've lost interest. You know, everybody was raving about the new Star Trek Next Gen, the Picard, I mean. And I'm like, I'm sure it's fine, but the damage is done at this point, and I don't care really anymore. So I don't know if that's ever going to change.
I don't even consult mainstream corporate comics anymore.
Right.
Like, you know, people were talking about Tony Stark getting married and being cucked in it. And I'm like, well, number one, he would never have married you know, like
Emma Frost.
Emma Frost. Emma Frost would have never married him. I mean, those two are not the marriage type.
No.
You know, per canon. And you know, and then now they've made him adopted. Now, you know, the guy from Thinking Critical, listen to that guy. He reads all of this stuff, and he's got his nose right up in all of that stuff, so he knows what's going on. But I don't care about that stuff. I really only care about what's going on with you guys, like what's happening. For me, this is where the excitement's at. Is what's happening on Film My Comic, what's happening, you know, in the Iron Age, what's happening over here with some Comicsgate guys. That's really where my excitement is at. And Hojo actually agrees with you, Kelsey, on this generational thing. He says Vaughn Coleman lives in an empty apartment with empty boxes and no female presence whatsoever.
He's working on that part. And we're working on the rest. We need to get him get you a statue or something. Next convention, see something you like, put it in your house.
Evele says, do you have any Iron Age or equivalent coffee roasters? I'm glad you asked that, Evele, because I am actually working on Crack-A-Boom Coffee. And I think I'm going to be doing a pre-order campaign next month on Fund My Comic under the guise of Fuel My Comic. So that way people can start pre-ordering their coffee flavors directly from us on that order.
Speaking of coffee, nice. Yeah, well, the whole thing about marriage in comic books, like I was disappointed with the Chala married Storm, because I was expecting this like Ike and Tina Turner relationship, and none of that happened. So screw that. Like, I'm here to watch things getting punched. I'm here to look at marriages or whatever.
The whole thing, I mean, again, I don't read any of this stuff now, but I see all this stuff about the gala where they're wearing clothes or people getting married or relationships. And I'm like, I'm only interested in any of that as far as how it creates complications in the mission that their character is set upon. You know what I mean? Unless it ties in and it creates conflict that drives the story forward, then it's pointless.
The things like we have been taken over by theater nerds.
We're not.
Star Trek is
not
a
the
musical
market
now.
anymore.
Yeah, Star Trek is a musical now. Like, we've been overtaken by theater nerds, so I'll just ignore it. I've never.
Well, it's not even that as much, especially in the modern entertainment. It seems to be taken over by people that want to destroy it.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're going about what's the worst thing that could possibly happen to Captain America? Oh, he's a member of Hydra. What's the worst thing that could happen to Tony Stark? Oh, he gets married.
It's
intentional.
Everybody off.
Part of me thinks that Blackstone is actually trying to bankrupt the industry.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You know, part of
so BlackRock.
Blackrock.
Blackstone is another company which is buying something very important lately. I heard that name today.
I meant BlackRock.
It's part of a much deeper thing, and it honestly, unfortunately, doesn't have much to do with comics. It's about the freedom it represents, really.
Bingo.
Individualism.
There you go.
Yes.
The
end
of Western culture.
Amen.
Yeah.
So, but we maintain that here. So welcome Oni64 in the house.
Hello.
They could always outsource to expand the diversity and inclusion. I love the humor of our group here. Let me see what else.
You outsource.
Luke says, "Evolve or die." Unfortunately, it seems the traditional publishing method refuses to evolve. Though there are some indie publishers, Shattermore, and they are using Shattermain,
that are using the crowdfunding model and calling shops. Yeah,
and calling shops. Yeah, there can be both. I think. Marvel did something where each page reduced the amount of panels each couple of pages, where the last few pages were all splashes. Interesting idea. I've always kept in the back of my mind. They also, on a 32-page book that they charge you $5 or $6 for now, they are only putting in 20 pages of art.
Yep.
And now they're telling even less story because they're using less panels.
Yeah.
So you're really only getting about 15 or 14 pages worth of story because of the spreading it out.
Yeah.
Hang on, what story?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But again, I just don't spend much time worrying about what they do.
You're starting to see enough time go by that folks forget that there used to be those old Marvels and those old DCs used to tell an entire story in one issue.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what they were made to give you that much story for your 20 cents or your 25 cents.
When an arc was 3 issues, you know.
Yes. I mean, that was the entertainment value.
To go with that,
one of 6.
To go with that, each page represented. I felt like I got my money's worth reading a Claremont comic back in the day, and it was only $1.95, I think, when I was buying it, the X-Men at the height of when I was buying it. But he put so much on every page. It took a good 20 minutes or more to get through a comic, and at least a good minute or two to read one page. So it was chocked full of story and character and all kinds of
real content.
Yeah,
real content. Exactly.
Glenn says it's all about opportunity. See the opportunity and take it. Make it work.
Yeah.
Generally, the only thing stopping a person is themselves. Yes, and I think the reason why they stop is because of fear. Fear of failure, fear of the unknown, those kind of things.
And
speaking of someone that didn't stop by fear, here we go. We've got this guy right here. I'm getting a phone call from Birmingham, Alabama. I'm not sure who's over there, but unfortunately,
they want to talk to you about your car warranty.
Probably. So indie game developer Jason Tagmeyer took a different path to gaming retail. He started out making wallet-sized card games under the name Button Shy, crowdfunding them at a rate of about one a month. Then decided to open a store carrying his games as well as those from other developers. So he's got an independent retail space for games now.
Wow,
that's a big move. That's somebody that is that's thinking outside of the box.
But he was also doing that monthly, which I think is we need to get our books out faster, more regularly. If not, doesn't have to be monthly, but there's so much time in between these, you lose the impulse.
You really do.
You see, a lot of these crowdfunders are learning business.
Yeah.
Well, you have to learn business when you're crowdfunding anyway. But a lot of these guys are turning into machines where they're kicking out campaigns every month, every other month, or whatever. And you see their readership climbing and they're being rewarded because of their hard effort or their hard work. So it takes work, but you can do it.
Recently, speaking about kicking out comics at a fast rate, I was looking at scripting comics in the Marvel method, right? And I noticed a lot of editors nowadays, they're some of the newer guys aren't familiar with it. And I was talking to another comic book creator recently. He was what he does is he hires multiple artists. So in theory, if you were using something like the Marvel method, you could probably kick out a lot of comics pretty quickly with multiple artists.
Yeah,
just pay them well.
Just pay them well.
As long as you're focused on quality, because that's definitely something that we're lacking. And I'm not talking about having the best art, the best printing. I mean quality of character, quality of story, things that make you actually care about what you're reading.
And again, the Marvel method was created out of necessity, and it was again, one of the good things about Stan Lee, like Bill Gaines that we talked about earlier. He was able to eye that talent. He pulled a bunch of people around him that knew how to tell a story in 20 pages.
Yeah.
And so he let them go and create that story. They knew how to arc the comic beginning, middle, and end.
Right.
And then he would spend his after hours with a legal pad scripting all the dialogue in and sending that to the letterer. It was all out of necessity more than he created that assembly line because it worked well for them. And he had the quality people there to keep the level of comics high.
And that's what it comes down to, is having a solid team to do it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there's too many people who want to cut corners because, okay, so I'm going to say something that's pretty unpopular, I think, for some people. But
here we go.
So some people complain that the barrier of entry for comics is too high. Those people that it costs too much money for the average person to come in and make a comic book. There's too much knowledge. You've got to know too much. You've got to. It costs too much. It's too hard to do.
Well, I said the same thing about brain surgery. You know, and I couldn't get into that.
Right. My point is, if that's you, then you don't need to be here.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, in this industry, you can never know too much anyway.
Right.
Dude,
There's
I've been
there's
doing
always
this for
new
damn near
stuff to
30
learn.
years. I've been doing it for almost 30 years now, and I'm still
Yeah,
learning new things. So
You're never gonna stop learning.
Never.
So
No, never.
When I find someone that can get past that barrier of entry, and then produce a second and a third book, man, do I have mad respect for them.
Indeed.
There's
Hojo.
Hojo. I like his comment here. He says most of the people writing mainstream comics have no idea where to go because they never wanted to be there in the first place.
Some of them don't know where to go because they've never been anywhere.
Right.
You know what I mean? They're writing from a bubble, like their college experience, their life, and their friends. It's a story that can't connect with somebody like me. Like I'm from Latin America. I could read a Captain America book from the 80s and thoroughly enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we were invaded by the US, I enjoyed Captain America.
There's a creator out there by the name of Carissa Grant who's trying to do a book a month on crowdfunding. And man, this gal, she's got hustle. And every book is getting better, and she's learning, and she's constantly growing, and she's working to be able to increase the quality of not just her storytelling and her art or book that she's putting out, but also the tchotchkes she puts with it and the whole presentation. She's doing what mad respect. Those kind of people, I want to help get to the top.
Some of the logistics behind that. Is she doing a 22-page comic? She's doing it monthly. So what is the size of this?
I think she's doing 32 or 24.
Okay, so she's hustling it out, but like, how much is she charging for? That's like a 32-page comic, so that's still a sizable comic.
Yeah, I think it's like $10 though.
$10.
Yeah, but I mean, she's not doing her goal.
That's still reasonable because they're selling 22-page comics for $6 or $7.
Right. But I think the other thing with what she's trying to do, and a lot of these people that do it on a faster pace, is they're not trying to make 5 or 6 figures per book.
Well, no,
that's not their goal.
Well, right. It's after seeing how much the shipping and the printing and all this costs, in order to make it worth your while, you can, crank it out, do it monthly, and eventually come up, break even, and even get grow beyond that.
Mm-hmm.
But let me get my thoughts correct here. How many is she selling, and is that viable? Is she playing the long game and she's willing to eat the cost then?
It's a long game. It's definitely
always a long
look.
game.
So here's the thing. So there's that whole new pay your dues kind of thing.
Right.
So in your day, you would go around and show your portfolio and work for a smaller publisher, and then work for a big publisher, and then eventually you gain a name for yourself. You produce your own book and you make a lot of money with it. We can't do that anymore. That the old model's gone for us, right? So the way we do it is through crowdfunding. You understand that you find a printer that you can print on demand what you need with maybe a 20% increase, so that you have books on hand and for the next campaigns coming up. You go out to conventions, you talk about your book, you get them signed up on your mailing list so that you can tell them about your crowdfunding. And honestly, if you can do a few $1,000s per book, you're not only going to eventually get to the point where you're paying for the art and everything in production for the book ahead of it, or maybe even 2 or 3 ahead of it. You're actually making money that you're putting in your pocket, and paying for the production of the book, the hard copies and the shipping. All of that's getting paid for as your audience is growing. So now each campaign, you're incrementally you're growing more. And right now we've got people that want to run 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th chances on their books at this level, where they're down here like me, nobody, right? And so they're down here trying to get $10,000, $20,000 on a book, and no one knows who the hell they are.
Okay, that brings up a very important question that I ask a lot. Is that is it that, like, in our day, the barrier for entry was very low. You can scrounge up a couple bucks for a comic book and start getting involved in the story.
Yeah.
But so you're building readership. You're fostering readership so that when you put out that trade, people want it, that nice one for their shelf, and they love the story. What we're doing is we're having the audience trust that we have it. And so there is no fostering of readership. We're going straight to the trade as if it's already a known commodity. So is there value in perhaps fostering readership through means that cost nothing, very low barrier for entry, like web comics, and then you crowdfund the trade?
Absolutely. And I think that's why you're seeing a lot of success right now. I mean, every week we talk about a new venture where someone has a web comic that's being put into print and is doing well. I mean, Lore Olympus started out as a web comic, and now it's selling graphic novels. In the realm, in the same park as the big boys. I mean, so yes, we have to make the barrier of entry for the customer lower, and I think with indies, the barrier for entry has lowered for self-publishers.
Yeah.
It definitely has, but we're seeing more people come in because it's cheaper to get in there. But then when they realize, in order to make a competitive comic book, that the barrier for entry is higher because there's people have already upped their games. And Hojo made like 10 grand on his first book over all the platforms, and I'm proud as hell of this guy, right?
Yeah, but the book looks good, and he's a hustler, man.
Yeah. But if you're, you've got to be to the point to where you're happy if you make 5 or 6K,
right?
And think, okay, now let me move on to the next book. Right. We've got people that make 5 or 6K and they're doing great, but they're not thinking about the next book. They're thinking, well, how can I make more on this book? Screw that. You paid for that book. You did it. You funded. You set a goal and you broke the goal. You should celebrate that. And now think about the next one. People asked me if I was going to go back and redo my first issues of Hybrids because my art's improved so much. And honestly, I wasn't ever going to do it until I signed up with Randy with Arrow Comics. And I remastered them only a little bit. I didn't want them to look as good as what I do now because I still wanted to use some of the original art. So I just upgraded it a little bit, took some of the best panels, and did some things better, told the story better, and added some pages than what I would have done before.
See, I think that's a little bit's okay, but I feel like you should experience the same misery I have with all my bad comics out there, and I can't do anything about it. So.
Yes,
but the thing is, I don't know,
which is what I did, which is what I'm doing, because I would much rather spend my time writing you a new chapter of that book, of that story, than going back and redoing that old one.
I love seeing the progress of artists. I like seeing where they.
That's it exactly. Yep.
Yes.
You need to have that out there. You need to cut and run. You need to know when to walk away from your product so that you can go on to the next better one.
Yeah. And not only that,
and show that progress because people love seeing that too.
Art is a moment in time.
Tell Nick Saban to suck it, Luke.
So when if you have an ability at a certain point and you put the art out, that's the art.
Yeah.
If you change it, you're changing history. And it depends on how you see art.
Like that's for story too. Story art. Yeah. We're using art, I think, as an all-encompassing term for comic making. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And hey, look at how upset everybody was when Lucas would keep going back and changing Star Wars.
Exactly. It's awful.
There's no need.
You're not Lucas,
guys. Let's welcome a few new people here into the chat. We've got Mad Ruth is now in the house with us.
Hey, what's up, man?
Welcome, Mad Ruth. He's joined us here this morning. We've also got Sketchy Guy, Nevada in the house. Welcome. Devolve and Die.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, you want to evolve and thrive.
You want to evolve and thrive. Yes, absolutely. We've also got Ice Queen in the house. Welcome, Ice Queen.
Hello.
Hey, all. It's good to have you here today. My sketchbook is in the house. Hey-o. Welcome. And so that I think that brings us up to date on who we've got here. Russ is going to be heading out. Russ, have a good day. We'll see you. We're going to be talking a little bit. We have a few more things here to cover.
While we were talking about Russ, those pages that we were showing, those penciled pages, those are all Russ.
Russ Leach's work.
This is from the Shadow Kingdom, which is a Robert E. Howard story that I adapted, broke down into pages for Russ to do.
Oh, wow.
So, and we can't wait to do that as an Arrow comic. Russ is going through and inking it. We're going to be offering a lot of different versions of this book. Artisan version, a black and white, and a gray tone, and a color version. Russ has got it all planned out, and it's literally the love of his life right now. A real touchstone work. He likes John Buscema so much, and the Barbarian stuff so much. And here's a guy who's worked on Ben 10, Doctor Who, Batman for a while there. Now he's getting to do something that he's always wanted to do. It's going to be a great graphic novel, 68 pages when it's all done. Once it gets close to completion, we're going to run that up on Fund My Comic. It's going to be a great product.
Oh, it's beautiful
Yep,
work.
Russ has got to run. Kelsey is always a class act. Yes, Kelsey is.
Thank you.
Kelsey is one of my favorite artists before and after the whole CG thing ever happened. Always loved your work. I was a fan for a long time. And then when I found out that you were more independent and that you, I'm not like a CG only kind of guy, you know. I'm like, I'm very much.
You can be. Like,
I'm a very much. If you're cool, you're cool, right? Like that's my thing. I don't really care how people vote in the end. I care whether or not they're a dick.
Yeah,
that's a good rule of thumb.
I mean, like I like what I like, and I let people. Right. I preach the same thing. You know, if there's something cool, whatever, you should get what you like. You know, if you got moral issues with it, that's a whole other thing, you know. But I mean, I still buy whatever piques my interest.
Whatever I want, Mainstream doesn't pique my interest anymore, so I don't buy it.
It is getting more difficult because I try not to conflate the art with the artist, but I have a really hard time watching Usual Suspects these days. So I can't say that I'm completely all for art, not the artist thing. It is wrapped up in that, but you know, sometimes
if people are real jerks, then I can't do it.
Yeah, it's hard.
So
it's harder.
So my sketchbook says who worked on Ben 10? That would be Russ Leach.
Russ Leach.
Adaptation of that,
Yep.
Speaking of Russ, there, I've going to get him to do a cover on my book when that comes out. He's going to be probably the main one.
Oh, nice.
All right, check this out. Image signs exclusive book distribution with Simon and Schuster. So they're leaving Diamond for everything. Everything has gone from Diamond with Image. This is not good for them. This is not good for Diamond at all.
Great for
Image. Really good for Image. Image Comics has signed an exclusive deal with Simon & Schuster for distribution to the book channel effective January of 2024. Simon & Schuster also distributes Viz Media and Boom Studio titles to the book market. So they are doing quite well.
I personally have no real love for Diamond because I've been railing against Diamond almost from the beginning of my career. You know, I tried to come up with like the United Independents at one point. I'm like, let's make our own distribution, you know, because they were canceling us at like 30,000 copies because that was low. And it's like, give me a break. And they just
kept making new minimums is what they call it.
Right. And
they would make people over.
I had some retailers actually contact me and they said that they will make it very difficult for us if we support you. And I was like, really? I had no idea how that stuff worked.
Oh, it's like the Gestapo.
So he had every opportunity, old Steve Geppy, right? And he the one over there?
Yep.
Yes.
He had every opportunity to change the game for the better, and he didn't. So I got no love.
He had an opportunity and he lost it.
He squandered it.
So speaking of Simon Schuster, once again, private equity fund acquiring largest U.S. distributor of graphic novels. So KKR, not the KKK.
1K away.
1K away from the. It's like, oh no, that's bad. That's bad.
No.
Really
the Ku Klux Klan. Oh no.
The private equity firm KKR has purchased Simon and Schuster, which in addition to being one of the largest publishers in the U.S., is also the largest distributor of graphic novels. Simon and Schuster distribution.
But who's the Grand Wizard of the KKR?
Well, maybe we'll find out. Their services, they distribute Viz Media, Boom Studios, AWA, Oni Press, Mad Cave Studios, Andrews McMeel, and a host of other graphic novel publishers, and it will add Image to its list in September. The acquisition price will be $1.62 billion in an all-cash transaction.
Oh.
Wow.
What?
Yes.
Wow, dude.
What?
That's some equity firms.
Dude, I know who the Grand Wizard of the KKR is. Pablo Escobar.
I thought you guys would like that. An all-cash transaction.
Cash money, baby.
Wow. Simon & Schuster, which was previously owned by Paramount, will become an independent company when the deal is complete. And KKR...
So these are all,
what's that?
These are all good moves, right?
As well, they should be.
It's a great move.
It's a good move, yeah.
Yeah,
Well, because, Paramount sucks right now. They're trying... Well, look, Disney's selling off a third of their assets. They're selling off a third of everything they got right now.
They're hoping to.
They're hoping to. No one wants to buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, yet no one's like showing interest in this stuff, right?
Cash, though, man.
Cash.
Money, man. That's
on the barrel,
shady, baby.
But part of me considers
it's an investment equity group. They got money to burn.
Value of cash.
Yeah. In addition, KKR plans to offer all of Simon & Schuster's 1,600 employees an equity stake in the company. This is something they have done at over 30 companies, including the audiobook publisher RB Media, which it purchased in 2018. In July of 2023, KKR announced it will also sell RB Media to HIG Capital and noted that all RB Media employees will get a cash payout, in some cases amounting to twice their annual salary.
Dude.
This is a company that takes care of their employees, folks.
Do they have that?
Let me knock on some wood there.
Do they have the ring of somebody as they go out?
You guys need a mediocre podcaster?
Look, some of these
really anybody who wants to start a comic company. Yeah,
some of these subsidiaries kind of helping out or jumping in and making opportunity or taking advantage of opportunity. There was a company that there was always stories about Dark Horse being late on pay and all that. I never worked for Dark Horse, just here and there, but I recently did the Nexus Scourge book at Dark Horse with Mike Barron. And let me tell you, whoever they got running the show now, it was smooth as silk. I loved it, and that's another group, I guess. Maybe not exactly like this KKR, but it is someone that is in business.
It's the Sicilians.
Paying them all in ones.
All in ones.
All in ones.
You get your money.
So KKR was one of the private equity firms that forced Toys R Us into bankruptcy, rather than supporting a restructuring to keep the company alive back in 2018, because they saw the model and they knew the model was dying. It wasn't good. It wasn't good business to keep Toys R Us alive. A dedicated toy store. What are you thinking? It's not a good idea. Stupid business idea. A dedicated toy store? Come on. Come on. The prices that they had to maintain. I would go into Toys R Us and I would like, oh my gosh. It's like I've got to take out a mortgage just to buy a Christmas present in this freaking place. It was insane. Yeah. It was insanity all the way around. Guys, IDW.
That bundle of joy.
You know what? I'm going to skip it. So I don't know if you heard about this, but the comic creators that had a lawsuit out against Action Lab for non-payment, they have pulled their lawsuit on the federal court because the federal court has not been able to allocate any work towards it, so it's just going to sit there indefinitely and they're never going to get paid. So they've pulled it. All of these creators, all these individuals that were suing for non-payment, they've pulled it, and they are going to do it on the state level.
Oh, nice.
They're going to refile on the
every
state
one of
level.
these are probably in different states, right?
Yeah,
so that's a
all
lot.
Over the,
probably,
yeah.
yeah. So Jeremy Whitley. Well, actually, probably all they'll have to do is sue in the state that Action Lab is in. That's where they have to go, okay. Because Action Lab probably has in their contracts, like we do with all of our businesses, that if you want to bring up litigation, you have to do it. Like for me, Luke Stone Studios, Iron Age Distribution, and Fun My Comic, you have to come to Indiana and sue me. So if you're going to do it, you've got to drive, sucker. Good luck finding me in the cornfields.
Come say it to my face.
Yeah, come and say it to my face if you can find me among the Amish. So anyway, so it looks like you've got Jeremy Whitley, Jason Strutz, Emily Martin, They did the Princeless and Raven. Tom Roger, John Riley, Dexter Weeks of the Harold Lovecraft and Tesla, John J. Perez of Archon, Joshua Henneman.
The list
Bigfoot.
is long. Yeah.
Yeah. Relin Grant, David Schrader, Christian Horn, Jason Inman, Ashley Victoria Robinson, Ben Matsuya. These are some names that I do know.
Oh, I was about to say, I don't know any of these names.
Dylan Gilbertson, Ken Marcus, Justin Carmine. Oh. No, Jim Lee's not in this. Corey Coleman. No, Jim Lee's got his own problems, brother.
Yeah, nobody's wired in this.
Yeah, I mean, just these are people that are amongst the indie kind of mid-level.
Oh, Rod Espinoza. That's my boy.
Yeah, okay. Espinoza in there.
Christopher Mills is in there.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I do know some of these names.
Yep. Mark Stegbauer, who did a Arrow comic called Goyle, Dr. Goyle.
These are people not worth paying. Because no,
right?
No, that's what they think. No, that's what they think.
Action Lab thinks. Yeah,
that's what they think. To them, these are not big names.
Yeah,
these are not big names. They don't have huge followings. They're not already rich, because if they were, they would take care of them so that they wouldn't get in trouble.
Yeah.
To them, Action Lab, to them, these are people not worth paying. Yeah. These are names not worth paying. That's exactly how they feel about it. Jerks.
We've lost Pedro. He's just
that was a good one though. Come on.
Yes. I don't know if they wanted money or they wanted something more sexual.
These days, it's hard to tell.
People get shot for that shit down here, man.
What a story, Mark.
Woo! Okay.
I digress. Okay, let's check out this one right here.
Wow. It's why it pays
we're
to
not
be
gonna
independent. You know,
let's get in.
Even with an independent corporation, they're still going to be looking out for themselves above you.
Yes, always. They are more concerned with themselves.
You see what you missed hanging out with us, Kelsey?
Yeah, I see it, man.
Come on the show. Like,
wake up earlier.
What is this?
Oh my god.
We have fun here. We have a lot of fun here. Daredevil, is going to get a TVMA rating. They originally were going to dumb it down.
Still going.
They're rebooting it. They're doing a Born
It's
Again
on hold
thing.
right now because of the strikes.
Yeah, it's on hold.
Yeah.
But so what I wanted to bring up was the original quotes on this were that it was going to be more for a general audience. It wasn't going to be as hard, okay? So now it was going to be like a PG-13. Now they're doing a TVMA on it. And the statement that I really, really liked on this was down here. And I just wanted to share this. So similar to what Daniel RPK says about Marvel, says above, Marvel insiders at Comic-Con filled me in that just like Echo, Daredevil, Born Again is in its current state is a complete disaster. But the good news is that the show is getting retooled. So they're going in and retooling it, and they're going to make it more mature, like the original Netflix version that we got and loved.
That's the only one I saw. I didn't know there was another.
They're telling more of the story.
Is it the same actor, or are they just?
It's the same actor. Yes.
Same actor.
Okay.
Now,
I enjoyed the first couple seasons of that.
Yeah,
were really
his
good.
co-hosts are not coming back with him, unfortunately. But yeah, so they
I kind of like their
that.
Foggy. Yeah, I got
I
used to
love
that.
Foggy was great.
Oh, he always rubbed me the wrong way.
Really?
Never liked his acting at all. Yeah, the guy who plays Daredevil and Karen Page, I thought were really, really good.
I really like Karen.
And of course,
I don't think is coming back.
Kingpin is Vincent D'Onofrio.
Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio killed that role.
Oh yeah,
he killed several people. I mean, he killed people
for the role. Yeah.
All right, so we talked about Graham Nolan earlier. He made it in the news this week.
Oh yeah.
So the Blue Beetle director, I don't know if you know about this, but the director was originally wanting to do a Bane movie, and so he pitched Bane, and the studio talked him out of the Bane movie in order to do Blue Beetle, and so Blue Beetle's Carapax, the character Carapax, he's pretty much making an analog for Bane, since he wasn't able to do that. But he has a lot of explanation about what he thinks Bane is about. Okay, and when asked after he said, that it's so here's some of his quotes. As far as Bane goes, the comics that are about Bane's stories, it felt like he's very misunderstood, much like Carapax in the movie. He's a product of his environment, which Graham will say is true, and that history has been buried. The history of the Caribbean, the Antilles. It's a history that's brushed off in history books. And so he starts getting very political with this, right? And so what's happening is this guy is basically projecting his own kind of thought pattern into what Bane is. So Graham did respond to this.
I have a question, though. As a connoisseur of this part of the world,
what a quote.
Is this guy Puerto Rican?
I think so.
That explains it all.
Well, so here's Graham Nolan's official statement on what this director had to say. He goes, well, that's a lot of horse shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Well said.
Well said, yeah. And he did continue on. He clarified, just so that people knows. He goes, too much personal projection. He's correct in that Bane is a product of his environment, but the socio-political extrapolations he's making were never considered during Bane's creation. So this begs a question. I want to ask this question to the panel. So we all will have this thing where we create a character or we do something. And people may, like in music or poetry, may connect or read into that character more than we ever considered. And what's your thoughts on someone doing that?
Can I go first? I feel that this touches me personally.
Ooh,
as much as the story of Latin America with the U.S. is. I mean, yeah, horrible things have been done in your name down here. I mean, let's not
horrible things.
I'm not going to blame Graham Nolan or Bane or when I read Batman, I'm reading Batman.
There's a time and place for that stuff.
Yeah, dude. I don't want to be reminded of the Trujillo Rebellion or the Chiquita Banana thing. I know that history. I read it. It's horrible. All the people responsible for that are dead. Okay.
Well, I mean, you make a compelling movie, an Oscar bait movie where, Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, and I'll go watch that kind of movie.
Yeah.
But Batman and Bane should be Batman and Bane. I mean, just keep it simple and fun. I just want to munch on popcorn and have a couple hours of entertainment.
I made the point on our Tuesday night show that what's going on with comics, it's like, look, there are the brightest minds in the universe. There's aliens. There's scientists. There's heroes. They would not be worried about climate change. Someone in that universe fixed it already.
Yeah, true.
Right? Like it's a whole other level of things they're dealing with in comic books.
The only thing I have to say to this guy, this director, sir, suffering is not a skill. Stop it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm all for directors having a take on something that.
Yeah, but this is dumb.
But this kind of goes beyond that. I mean, I'm thinking I would love to hear a director come in and go, well, I was not familiar with the books, but I read them and I really understand the what people see in this and love this, and it's my goal to translate that as faithfully as possible and try to up it because we're doing it in cinema.
That's not what he's doing, though.
No, that's not what any of them are doing.
It comes down to a lack of respect for the art form because it's become almost a badge of honor in these interviews now for these folks to go, I never read the books, but I made up the story.
Yeah.
I know what comics are about.
Tell everybody how much they
down their nose at.
Yeah, this guy. So Graham said it best on Professionals. This kid just thinks the world owes him something, so he's right about everything. Yeah. And you do get a lot of those people that they think that they're right. I'm like, dude, look, we created the character. I'm telling you that we didn't think about those things. Yeah. That's not who the character is. That's not him. He's freaking roided out. He doesn't care about socio-political, economic bull crap. He wants to beat the crap out of Batman.
I didn't know in a bat suit. Okay.
I didn't know Bane to begin with. I never read those comics at the time, and my first experience with Bane as a flesh and blood character was that Batman and Robin, where he was an idiot. And then I read
the Schumacher movies.
Yeah, and then I read an interview with Graham and Chuck, I think, and they were talking about his character, and I was like, "Whoa, that's not at all what they did." And then I saw the new ones, the Kevin, the Graham, the
Christian
Nolan,
Bale.
the other Nolan guy,
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, and I thought I was like, "Well, this is a lot closer to what it seems like." I still don't know if they got him right, but and it's just one of those cases where I don't feel like they've gotten Batman 100% right. So
you've nearly adopted the dog I was born into.
Well, like I was really excited for this new Batman because they were really putting a lot of emphasis on him being the detective, the Dark Knight detective. And they tried that, but it still got the tone like all wrong.
I still liked it better than most of the Batmans that I've
seen.
Right,
it was still interesting. I enjoy all of them for various reasons.
Yeah, I like Batterson or Patman, however you want to put it.
Yeah,
I liked the different take. It was fresh, and I swear to God, if I see one more movie where the Waynes get shot, I'm gonna shit myself.
Well, they should have just made it Vigilante Man the movie because it didn't need to be Batman. In fact, like with the Joker movie. Every time they reference Batman, I was like, okay, And then in the new one, when I was so compelled for the performance of the dude that played the Penguin. And then at the end of his role in the movie, you see him all tied up and waddling like a penguin, and I was like,
stop it.
Yeah. Okay. Man, you had me going so bad. This guy, I didn't even know it was that actor. I was convinced this guy was real. I was like, this is one of the best performances I've seen in ages. And then they just take it all away.
I am very afraid that Blue Beetle is just going to be 2 hours of someone preaching to me about how my whiteness has somehow fucked him over.
Yeah.
And I'm really worried about that.
It's gonna be a complete shit show for sure.
I do like the Blue Beetle as a character.
I don't know though. I don't think Gunn would have let it come out if it was really bad. To tell you the truth,
these days.
Because he kind of okayed that movie. Yeah, but he also okayed Flashpoint, so who knows?
I'm already done. So
that actor I like the kid who's playing the Blue Beetle, but his name is Cholo, and that rubs me the wrong way.
No, I do like him. He was great. He was great in Cobra Kai. I love that kid. He's great. I'm like, okay, this is good. I like that. I'm used to that character being black. That's my experience with the character when I was first introduced. But
I'm not a Blue Beetle fan, but I like him for all of his gadgets. So if they'd have done Iron Man with Blue Beetle, I would have been much happier than this socio-economic low, whatever. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I just like. I just want to have some cool stuff.
It made sense when they did that with Miss Marvel because that was kind of part of her story to begin with. This poor little Muslim girl.
See, I don't even know anything. I never read that.
Hey, I resent that. I'm the market for the Blue Beetle, and I hate
you are the market for Blue Beetle,
right? Yeah, I mean, it's like the argument. I talked to David Williams about this a lot because he's pretty passionate about this as a black guy himself. He's just like Shaq.
Wait,
Shaquille O'Neal has the Superman logo on his arm.
Yep.
They like Superman for Superman, not because he's black or white.
Right.
I mean,
I have another friend who's got the same tattoo on his arm. Yeah. Well, he's black, but I might be blacker than he is. This guy, he gets like pedicures and stuff. He actually talked me into my first pedicure, and I went with my wife and we got pedicures once. And you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. You do question whether or not you have to tear up your man card and throw it away. But it's pretty nice having some Asian lady rub your feet.
I'll settle for any woman that wants to rub my feet.
Right, there you go.
You can get down. You can get down here for $15, Kelsey.
See you in a couple days, pal.
Yeah, I'm not a smart man.
I love it. I love it. One of these days, we're gonna get Never mind. No, I'm not going to say that.
Don't say it. Yep.
Yeah.
Self-censoring.
Look, you have a filter after all.
You know, it has to be pretty bad if I'm not going to say it.
That's how you do it. Yeah.
So,
awesome, dude.
Yeah, Fun My Comic things are going well over here. I do want to bring up today, let's talk about some really good things about published works that are happening right now. There is a group right now. Well, first off, let's talk about Chad Townsend.
Hey, Chad.
Chad frickin' Townsend. He's got, 3 hours left on his book. He is killing it. I mean, this is a talented guy making $12K on his book, 24-page action book. Look, this is good money.
But you know what I like about him.
Sorry,
what he's
15 days
doing
left, you have to
right,
pay up to-
in my opinion, is that I saw him on some shows. He'd pop up with Matt Bear. He'd pop up with Ethan. Eventually showed up on Ethan. He was being proactive. He was like, "Hey, can I get on anybody's show to launch my book?"
Mm-hmm.
I didn't see anybody jumping on it. And I was like, you know what? I want to be proactive. This is before I kind of got a sense of him, but I'm like, I was thinking I need to be proactive. So I was like, yeah, come on with me. And we did our show. And then he was hitting every show he could find. And then eventually, just the other day, he was like, I can't just keep asking people if I could be on their show. I need to start streaming myself. Yeah, so he's been proactive in that. He's a go-getter. He learns quick, and he's not settling for what other people can do for him.
He's going to be super successful.
Exactly.
And I hear so many people doing that. Like Mad Ruth is like, I can't keep working for table scraps off of people's charity. I have to build my own platform. So he's going to produce issue 4. Right now, he's going to be done with that soon. Issue 4 of Soultac, and then he's going to spend a year building his platform so that he can have an audience to sell to. And I'm like, look, that is some dedication to say, I'm going to put aside this thing that I love doing right now, and I'm going to work on selling those 4 issues and finding my own audience for those 4 issues before I produce the next one. And most people do not have that kind of dedication to their business and their art and they don't. We are in an economy of attention in all of this. It's not just economy of money. We're fighting for people's attention. And that attention is worth so much. But we also have to realize, well, when it comes to this time and attention, how much is building my brand worth to me? Is it worth, I know Hojo has gone without sleep. I know Hojo was on vacation, was still hustling and chilling for his book, right? Give up time, right? Yeah. Sleep? You give up stuff that is personal and meaningful to you so that you can invest in this. And we all have to have a this far and no further kind of moment, and this, have these boundaries for ourselves.
Yeah.
But you have to.
When you forget the name of your kids, you're on the right track.
Right. But if you're not willing to give up golfing this weekend because, there's a show, well, it's not worth it. I'm golfing this where I'm getting the jet skis. Look, sometimes you just have to buck up and prove to people.
Hojo's saying he lives on scraps. His wife would kill him if he had his own channel. Look, I do an hour a day, and I don't spend any money on it, and it eventually is making me a little cash every month. I mean, it's very little. But
Hojo, I think you should make shorts. I think you should make shorts.
Those are doing really well.
Only do shorts. Just pull up your phone and record some opinion that you have because your opinions are liked and they're hilarious. And just post little 30-second videos of your opinion on something. Rant for 30 seconds, done, post it.
Bancroft has been doing that and getting a huge boost in his subscribers.
That is...
But you got to hit it hard, and you got to do. He did several a day for a month, so he was hitting it hard. I don't think you have to hit it that hard.
But. No, you don't have to do that.
Speaking about hitting it hard, I used to know this gentleman, right? And
hit it hard.
I'm not leading into a joke. There's no innuendo here. But,
okay.
That's what she said.
So what he used to do, he used to complain all the time about not going anywhere in his life, right? He wasn't doing anything. He was just sitting, drinking beer, at the local pub, wasn't going anywhere. I asked the guy, what do you want to do with your life? So he says, well, I want to go build race cars. So I says to the guy, why aren't you at the racetrack every single day instead of sitting in the pub? Right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what you got to do. You got to actually do.
If you're a writer, you write. If you're an artist, you draw. If you know, and the thing is, Hojo wrote my 3 rules. You know, the I don't care, why not, and uncancelable. The 3 things that I live by. He wrote those things. He did it in the chat like that, very quick, just from being, you know, being in the chat for a few weeks, looking around. And so, I mean, this is a guy, yeah. And then you can do shorts about brewing beer and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. No production, just use your phone, dude. Use your phone.
The stuff you loved, you know, also, you know, spotlight the things. And then you'll find people that are agreeing with you. They'll agree about your opinion about, you know, this or that. They'll agree with the things that you love. Oh, man, I love that too. And then they'll be like, when you put out a comic and they're hanging out and seeing you, they'll be like, oh, man, I already I'm on the same page with this guy. Let me read his comic. You know, at least that's the hope.
I love the energy in Chad's work.
Yeah.
It looks great. I think that he's going to. I'm looking forward to seeing where his career goes.
Yeah, Chad has an animation background too, and it shows.
Yeah, this is neat. This is neat for me.
Yeah, you sit in the posting, you see the layouts.
Here's another company that's really getting my attention lately. Phil Diaz over here. What these guys are doing with their stuff. This book looks good. I mean, this is neat. I mean, but really, it's the hustle that these guys are pulling up. Yeah. You guys need to be watching for Zaid Studios and what's happening with these folks. And they are.
I love the fact that it's Simon Bisley all over the Diaz brothers. Like, dude, it's awesome. It's awesome. Don't get me wrong.
I want to see Phil get better at his salesmanship because I think he has the potential to be like unto a Stan Lee. He's a personality. He's always out there. We're used to seeing Phil. He makes fun work. He makes this fun. And he, you know,
and he's a very likable person.
Yeah. Yes, yeah. And if he can get that salesmanship quality, I mean, Stan Lee wasn't Stan Lee until he figured out Stan Lee. So he was like a bald guy with a mustache in a suit in a
Stan
building.
Lee evolved into Stan Lee.
Exactly. So you can learn this too.
We all evolve into the characters that we become for the public. We really do. But I like what they're doing. I think this is a company to look out for. I will point this out. So Phil Avelli, my partner for Iron Age distribution, he went to Tampa. All right, he flew in. You met him, Kelsey. He had you hold the FNC logo.
Yeah,
right?
He was great.
So Phil, great guy, right? Very likable. He's out there selling to the retailers. That's his job. He's getting the retailers on board to take our crowdfunded books that we make retail versions for, so that we have a market to sell these books for residual income for creators, basically, is what it's going to be. Oh, cool. And it's going to be accessible entertainment for the stores to have for their customers. This is a win-win across the board if everybody buys into it. And so we're working to lay the groundwork for that. But he's going around these conventions. He was at Tampa Bay Comic-Con, and he went over to the hate groups table, Scout Comics, and he took a picture. And there's one guy standing over there looking on his phone, and he was there just to man the booth because he works for Scout. There was nobody at Scout. At the exact same time, on the other side of the convention hall, there is Riot Press. You're over there with Riot Press. Cecil was over there, I think, at the time. Bancroft was there. Bancroft was there, and that booth had so many people. He had to stand in the back and hold his phone up in the air to take the picture. And he goes, look, I'm not going to post this. I'm not going to post this because I want you to see that because he knows how I feel about Scout. Yeah. Scout will actively tell their people, they said, well, if you're working with someone, you need to go over to this website and see if they're listed as one of these comic books creators, Comicsgate creators. If they have any connection with Comicsgate whatsoever, they're banned from us here. We will not support them. Well, that's fine. Don't support. That's stupid. I mean, you guys are being stupid. You're putting political ideology above talent and storytelling. You guys are freaking stupid. But that's up to you. Do it. That's fine. That's fine. Because it makes more money for us.
It's a modern definition of a hate group.
That really is, right?
The fun is over here, man. Like, we don't need them.
Right.
Well, I mean, it's just a shame because I would love to compete fairly. It's like, look, let's have friendly competition. If you think you could do better, let's see it. I mean, everybody's going to be able to make these books.
Look, man, they would do so good if Scout would pick up Shank and publish Shank for you, put the money behind it for you, right? I mean, think about it. They would make so much money off of a Shank book because people love Kelsey Shannon. Everyone loves Kelsey Shannon. I don't know one person that doesn't like Kelsey Shannon. I've never met one.
Yeah, I can think of one.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe an ex-girlfriend somewhere. I don't know. But I mean,
two.
Okay, I have never met anyone in this industry that's like that. Kelsey Shannon needs a dick, and I don't like him because it's not the case. Look, you're doing so well on Scribbles, and it's only going to keep growing from there. I think the more the word gets out, the better it's going to do. And quite honestly, when Shank drops, I think that book is going to do tremendous. I mean, I can't wait to get a hold of it.
See, I got to get better at my Stan Lee, my inner Stan Lee, my inner salesman.
We all do, dude.
Yes.
And I think that's part of why, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm an idea guy, and I know that. Mm-hmm. That's what I do. And so I'm trying to come along and have the big ideas, put the tools in the creators' hands that they need to be mega successful if they can. And then I'm also trying to learn how to sell and teach people to sell better. Mm-hmm. It's like, well, let me, I've got time that while I'm sitting here drawing, I can listen to these podcasts, and I take some of the money that we earn from the channel and I put it into paying for content to learn, books, audio books, things like that, to learn real honest tools and skills that we can put into video form and into other forms to be able to educate creators on how to sell the book, on how to connect with their audience. In fact, I'm working on a series of videos. I'm scripting them out now that is relating building your audience to dating, because I think we can understand the dating concept. And right now, and I said it probably, I'm going to use the PG version, the safe for work version. I said a lot of people are walking into the club and walking up to strangers and asking them to marry them.
Yeah.
That doesn't work like that. In fact, the non-PG, I said they're, the way my daughter puts it, she goes, they're walking in to the club with their wang out and they're asking people to touch it. And it's not,
that's my PP approach.
They're turning people off. They're turning people off from their book because they're just going at it, trying to sell their books this way. And they're not going in and finding first, well, what's the kind of customer you want to date?
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about long-term relationship. We're talking about marriage here, guys.
You need those marketing. You need those marketing roofies.
Yeah. We're not trying to. Everyone wants to get on EVS show because that feels like a marketing roofie.
Yeah.
You're taking someone home tonight.
Yeah, exactly.
When you get on a channel like his, right?
Oh, it is. Mm-hmm. It's a hot club.
It really is a hot club, right? Mm-hmm. And it's great that if you can get on those kind of shows, but you've got to think long term. It's like, well, you need to date first. Let's introduce ourselves to some people and see if they want to have a conversation with.
Yeah, there's also the dive bars. You can go there and see what you can get.
The dive bar,
the truck stop.
Truck stop.
Yeah, it's cold out here. Really?
I'm over here chilling with Mudflaps and Itchy. What's going on?
Yeah.
So Scout told you that that your book wasn't up to the art and story standards and that the premise was boring. No, it was because you have CG connections, because I've read some of the dribble that they've put out. Yep. And their art and their story standard is so subpar, I would rather wipe my butt with those comics than read them.
I mean, I understand the thing about trying to compete with somebody on uneven terms. But if they're punching themselves in the face, what can you do? You know what I mean?
Laugh. Point and laugh, folks.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what they're doing. They're alienating everybody and then question why people don't buy my comics.
Yeah,
it's even worse. They're just irrelevant.
They really are.
I don't even think about them.
So. Well, you saw that booth that they paid a lot of money for with all those books, and no one was over there buying them.
Yeah. And some poor aunt is exposing her 401k or whatever her savings to help little Stevie put his booth in Tampa, because those guys are not making the sales. You know what I mean? And that money is coming from somebody. It's a question of attitude, man.
But we got companies
on a smaller scale is what
it
is.
If they made it more fun for their customer base, they would grow.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It has nothing to do with us or anything else going on.
Absolutely. But we've got companies like Zaid Studios, which I think is going to be a huge, I think in the next 5 years, I think more people are going to look past the whole CG crap.
They just passed their 10-year anniversary, actually. So this is you could see that the growth and where they gone, and coming to CG and growing their audience little by little. I think that they're just going to keep growing because they're doing it the right way. They're doing it based on character and
what they've done is they've introduced themselves to the lady at the bar, right?
Yeah.
And they've gotten to that we've dated them a while, and now people want to commit. Look, I've known about the Diaz brothers for years, right?
Yeah.
And I'm to the point to where I'm like, I'm committing to what they're doing, and I'm saying this is a good company. That these are good guys. They're not just there because they knew someone and were friends with someone. They're there because they've earned their position.
Put the work in.
They've earned it, and Chad is earning it right now.
Yeah,
this guy is amazing in what they're doing, and these are the people that I want to highlight and talk about because they're just doing so good.
Well, and Chad's a guy who's like a lot of us too. He's had a good 20, maybe even 30-year career in animation, commercial art, comics, and he still doesn't take for granted that this is a new way of doing things that he has to learn and figure out for himself and be proactive in.
Right.
So that's he's doing great things. What is this? I was showing this off on my show the other day. I'm really excited about this.
You need to see this. So this is their second magazine that they're doing. This is like the old Wizard magazine.
Yeah.
But this is for Iron Age creators like us. This is for us, basically.
And I like the name, very metal.
The fans are loving this. One of the cool things that you're getting with this now, you're also getting like many stories that are getting added into this. So like Immortal Rising Tales #1 is going to have a few pages in here. So you're going to be able to get introduced to comics that are going in there. I know in the future, Arrow Comics is going to have some introduction and some things going on in here. My comic is going to have more involvement.
Is it 100% original, or like, for instance, Heavy Metal had European books that were printed in multiple countries, and then they bought the rights to those to print it in the book. You think that's a possibility, or are these original? So like if I did Shank as my own book, but maybe wanted to introduce it to another audience, putting it in a magazine at some point, licensing it out, I guess I don't know if that's the term, but making it available in other forms like Anvil magazine.
Yes, I believe that is a possibility. With Anvil over here.
That's cool.
I mean, this is just, it's really cool what they're doing. They need to be bringing in more money than what they are. Yeah. But again, it's hard to kind of market these things, but the Iron Age is definitely behind them. And I think by the end of their campaign, this one's going to do very well again. But it's growing. It's continuing to improve. He's had some, it's one of those things you always have the first issue problems, finding, the printer, having the printer, working all those issues out and things. But
setting up the relationships and
but this is a very cool thing that's happening in comic books. This is something we need,
so slick looking,
guys.
Exciting,
it is. This is something we need, guys. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we need to get behind. This is where fans will go. This is kind of that one-stop shop thing, where they will go and they will be able to learn about creators, where they will be able. There's articles in here. There's there's
interviews.
There's all kinds of really cool content in this book.
Is there like ads? Maybe if you can I buy ad space?
I do believe so. Yes.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Yes, there's all kinds of really cool stuff about this magazine, and I can't. I think what was it, 200 pages or something, was the first issue. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But issue 1's only available while the overruns last. So at some point you're going to miss out on issue 1. You won't be able to see it anymore. But it's got a magazine, so it doesn't matter if you miss issue 1. You just get the next one. You just get, and at some point I hope that he does a subscription plan where people can just every month just buy their, if he can get on a monthly. And I think he's going to try to do a quarterly.
And make back issues available, because I like with Wizard, with Heavy Metal, with all these various things. I came in way after it started, and then I could I went back immediately and like found as many as I could and wishing I was there at the beginning. So, yeah.
So yeah, here you go. Someone, Evely Music says Anvil is dope. Hojo's going to have a short story in one of them there.
Nice.
In issue 3. I mean, this is a cool project that you guys should check out.
I love this logo.
It is great. Everything about this feels like we're on the precipice of a new industry growing out of the industry, if I can say that.
Yeah. That's exactly how this feels, man. When you're on the edge. And
Anvil hitting at the same time Film My Comics hitting, Iron Age distribution. We have Iron Age marketing, which these guys are helping doing marketing stuff for independent creators that are out there that are focusing on story and content above all else. I mean, this is just, such good stuff. We still have Scribbles that is up there now in continuous story. You guys got to check that out. If you back something today on Fund My Comic, please let me know in the chat so you can flip us the bird, okay? Flip us the bird again today, and hopefully you flip Kelsey the bird by going over there and backing his book today.
I'm used to it. Go ahead and flip me the bird.
I was actually kind of curious about
right at home
about this book here. You didn't do a digital version. You just did straight to print.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a sketchbook's kind of like a digital version. You can probably find a lot of my stuff out there on the web. This kind of stuff, though, is
what people will want is that commentary.
It's like
I'm sure.
textbook. Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's certain things. Like,
still
I
better in
probably
print.
will make my book available digitally. My main storybook, but certain things I'd like to do, like an art book and things like that, will probably be boutique and only in print form and in a limited supply, just because I like rarity on a certain level. But for my story, I'd want to get it to as many eyeballs as possible. So I'd probably make it
Here's another one I want to bring up today before we kind of start working our ways out. This one's very cool too. So watch this, Kelsey. You'll like this.
Oh, it's another magazine. Wow.
What I imagine magazine used to be like
Corbett.
way back when it first started, genuinely satirical and genuinely subversive.
Flip City Mag boys, this is our version of Mad Magazine. Look at that artwork. You know that these people ate bullets, eating punches. We taking back the print periodicals. We taking back the media, my friends.
I love Flip City. It has brought new types of badassery and integrity to the print medium. I hope everybody goes out and supports you guys and is part of the fun.
So here's an example. It's basically like a non-woke version of Mad Magazine, which a lot of people are probably familiar with.
They send you a tinfoil hat.
Put a tinfoil hat on before reading. You know, it's not just about epic stories and that they can change your world and everything. Comedy is some of the most effective storytelling. We're all well versed on memes and mimetic imagery and all that kind of stuff. But basically, these are memes. These are magazines full of memes, but they're all original.
Genuinely cutting, but also funny and obviously just chaotic and very fun.
Flip City. Need to hook this guy up with flipping through. That's the Mad Magazine show.
We were talking earlier about comedy not being funny anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But no, it is still funny. There's things like, we mentioned at the top of the show, the Rob Schneider bit. man, it was funny because it talked about the the stuff that we all are thinking, right? And so it just brings it up and it points fun at it.
I mean, good parody and good commentary in the form of jokes and all that gets you thinking, and it's stuff you're already thinking about. So it's really shocking and amusing when you feel like, oh man, okay, this is not only is everybody else thinking about this, but it's kind of hilarious when you think about it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you don't feel alone
Starload, Peter Squill, and his unlikely band of BFFs as they save the galaxy and snarky ones of the universe.
Well, hey, I got 2 birds from Hojo. At least thanks for Hojo.
2 birds?
There you go.
There we go.
Double bird.
2 actual birds.
2 birds.
Yeah, there we go. No, not that kind of bird, guys. We're talking about. But anyway, this is funny. I mean, this is something that's good. Woke world. I mean, look, this is funny stuff. We can get back to humor and things like that.
And it's really good art too.
It is. I mean,
stuff.
It's well done.
Well, gents, I hate to say it, but I got an emergency here.
Oh man,
I have to
go ahead and
take something to the hospital. So it was nice meeting you, Kelsey.
You too,
sorry to hear that.
Everybody,
Yeah, take care, Whiskey.
Yeah, keep us posted. Man.
Yeah, keep us posted. Hope everything turns
wow,
out
that's
all
crazy.
right.
See y'all later.
Yep.
Take care, man.
See you, bro.
Yeah, I need to go soon as well
Yep.
too. I don't have any emergencies.
We all need to
but-
go.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, this is
Sitting at
I have an
that
announcement
noon
to
hour
make, though.
here.
we got 1 minute. We got 1 minute and we're closing down,
okay.
guys. We're on our way out.
Hey, kids, what time is it? It's time for lunch.
It's time for lunch.
Yeah, so guys, I'm setting up the mailing list for my
Waifus
next,
and kaijus.
yeah, for my next project, waifus and kaijus. If you like waifus, kaijus, and Big Mechs, this is your thing. I'm working the promotional stuff. So you
And
get
Big what?
An Angel.
Who?
And Mex.
Oh,
Max.
Max. Oh my God.
Max.
What
That's
did
not
you
what I
hear?
heard. That's not what I heard.
Not MEX, MECHS.
Yeah.
Yeah, Max. So yeah, it's gonna be a lot of fun. It's gonna be 80 pages of hot chicks, robots, and kaiju. So
You're
be on
speaking
the
my
lookout.
language.
Yeah,
Can't go wrong with that, man.
yeah,
That's good
definitely
stuff.
kaiju coming your way next week.
And then Randy.
Glenn Fleming wanted me to show this off. This is the type of work he's doing for his World War II book.
Oh yeah, dude.
That'll soon be available.
It's going to be
Yeah.
amazing. I'm
beautiful
looking
work.
forward to that.
It's fantastic stuff.
Yeah. Keep an eye on his stuff. Also keep an eye out what's going on aerocomics.store. Check that out. Kelsey, you've got a show every week.
Well,
few
yeah,
days.
I've cut it down to a couple days just because I got a lot of stuff to finish up before the year's out, and I want to start next year strong. So I'm keeping it light right now, but I'm showing up on everybody else's show at least.
Yep.
Like Graybeards on Wednesday.
Yeah, you guys can find Kelsey. Make sure to go over there and support Scribbles. You are doing Shank very soon, right?
Oh yeah, I can't wait. Just the idea of getting lost in my own world for a change instead of, for lack of a better word, compromising. Certain things you kind of want to go when you're collaborating and you're creating something new. So you're both kind of compromising. So the idea of fully indulging in my own world is an experience I've yet to do. So like this is going to be kind of fun. I think it'll be a new thing for me.
Very excited about that.
Good.
Don't forget, Randy does a couple of shows.
Yeah,
tell us
I've
about that
got
real quick.
a show early on Friday called Comics by Night. That's 5 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that Russ is on it and Glenn is on it. We talk about and show off some great sequential art. This week we're going to be finishing off the Alex Toth One for the Road book, which is a collection of comic stories, a rare collection of his work for cartoons and dragtoon magazines. And then Sunday morning, we also do a show at 9 a.m. called Sunday Funnies, where everybody's invited on. You want to be on my shows, just contact me. Love to have you on. And where we talk about the stuff that really inspires us and keeps us doing what we're doing. And this Sunday, we're following up from last Sunday's show where I went through my long boxes and pulled out some really obscure, great Marvel material by some great artists. And we're going through and looking at it. I pulled out a stack about a foot tall, and we only ended up going through about 6 of them in the last episode. So this time we're going to go through. You'll see stuff like Gulliver of Mars and Monarch Star Stalker, Wood God. some great art by some great artists with some great comics you've probably never seen. So that's Sunday Funnies, 9 a.m. over at the Indie Comics Network. Comics by Night every Friday morning, 5 a.m. over at the Indie Comics Network. They're all archived over there, too, so that you can listen and watch at your own convenience.
Awesome.
So please do. We just got done doing 12 episodes on The Watchmen, which was just great. We got the annotated Watchmen in black and white, and it's a whole different animal when you can see it with Gibbons artwork in black and white. It's just phenomenal. But there's a lot of great stuff up there for you to look at. So, yeah.
I want to make sure to thank our 2 new channel members today, Ronan's Reviews, and also Tank Ferret. Thank you so much for joining the Bacon Nation. We appreciate you.
And I want to point out the Out of Obscurity anthology that's over on Fund My Comic, and The Fool, I believe, is still up there, which is a fun comic that I did. We've actually got copies out there. We're fulfilling the campaigns now, and it'll soon be available over at arrowcomics.store as well. But go over there and buy in on Fund My Comic if you can. It's still up there.
Yep. And we also have Chrome Dog.
Chrome Dog
over
too.
there. Yeah, we've got a few Arrow properties going.
Soul
right
Tag,
now, Hybrids
that's still over there.
I think so.
As well.
Yeah, he may have closed it down yesterday.
What a great volume that is! I was just looking through that the other day. Just phenomenal
really
stuff.
Good.
Yep.
Be sure to check out all those things. But yeah, thank you to the new channel members. Thank you, chat, for being here. You make this thing the beautiful thing that it is. I want to thank all of the panelists today. Pedro, Randy, as always. Whiskey, hopefully things are okay with him. And I want to thank our special guest today, Kelsey Shannon, for being in the house, man. It's been so great. You've added so much to the conversation. You're already a likable guy. And I think that if people are not aware of your work, I think they're even more aware of it now and more aware of how awesome you truly are. So we do appreciate you. We appreciate it very much. And here's a Pixel just as we're getting ready to head out.
Pixel's in the house.
It's good to see you, Pixel. Another,
don't forget AR13L, also over on Fund My Comic. Another Arrow comic, great book. Yep.
Arrow, the first Arrow 3G that's coming out. So yeah, we really do thank you guys.
Another
so much
go-getter.
For being here. Yeah, we appreciate you guys so much. Remember, it is so easy to tear down. There's so many people out there that all they have is hot takes on what's bad in the world. Let's try to talk about some things that make us happy and inspire us. Let's start highlighting those individuals and those companies that are actually producing things that make our lives better, and we're seeing them in the independent industry. We thank them for that. Let's go ahead and build up more than we tear down. It is difficult to build. It is easy to destroy. But get out there and leave that wood pile higher than you found it, and by all means, please. You know what I'm about to say.
No.
Let's be careful.
Eat your vegetables. Oh.
Yeah. Let's be careful out there. Let's be careful out there. We had a 187 at the 7-Eleven on the corner of 4th and Main. 2 Caucasians of the male persuasion put a bullet through the cashier's brain. Moving on, I see it 211, half a dozen 459, 218 W's a GTA, several miscellaneous crimes.